Good job, King. Good job, King.
Yo, before I do the second part of the intro, or Tears thinks 100 bits, I'll take what is crippling new entry to the game for 100, Alex? Crippling, I don't know if I would be so bold, but it fucking sucks, and we'll talk about it in a second. Sunshine and Black thing was the tier 1, 34 months. Just got my first win with ogres, baby. Not rocking that sweet 0% win rate anymore. They did it. AoS Steam, things in tier 1, 26 months. Forever and ever and ever. Dragon Install, great name as always. Things Big Prime, 16 months. Beta game is 2911 or 2911s, whatever one prefer. Things Big Prime, Big Year Time. Things 21 months minus 9. Appreciate it. It's almost a year. L Attack. Things Big Prime, 9 months. No ads. Big content. That's right. The only commercials you see here are ones that I made and are memes. Appreciate it. It's about the paywall in the app. MechRat2 thanks for being a member for 6 months. Sorcerer Supreme on YouTube. Big Appreciate it. Argument you hate seeing the most is, well, they did it for 40K. Why wouldn't they do it for AoS? I'm going to talk about that exact argument right after this. Please enjoy the SID card stylings of Commodore 64 for like 3 minutes. I gotta get a drink from the fridge in any case. Backside of the TV, good name. Thanks for the Prime, 6 months. Appreciate it. Perfect streak, half a year already. Boy, time flies. Speaking of time flying, 106.9, the Whoa FM. A little Commodore 64 for you. All right. Hey. Let's go to walk and Bairn, shall we? How you guys doing this fine evening? Anyway, thanks for the hype train on the intro. I appreciate it. TYVM. Yes, as you have no doubt guessed. The new... Oh, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark in the Wizard Tower today. I don't mind it. The snowing station wagon town. Yeah.
Sophisticated, relaxing, kind of invigorating. Ooh. Everybody doesn't appreciate it like we connoisseurs do.
Everybody doesn't appreciate it like we connoisseurs do. City Buster, thanks for 10 tier 1 gifters to the chat. Huge dude, thanks a lot, I appreciate it. And Dragonfall approaches, the next tournament, next event. Damn. I gotta tell you guys, and I don't know if this is a surprise, but I'm pretty excited for Dragonfall. in like 2 weeks. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Home of Gen Con. And Dungeons and Dragons and all the rest. There's going to be a Age of Sigmar tournament there. Which, damn, it feels bad to say this. I don't give a shit about at all. I'm going to like participate in it. But I'm mostly doing it, you know, I'll take pictures of people's armies and have some fun games against people, you know, and stuff like that. But I'm really in it to see the community and play a bunch of Commander and go out to eat with people and stuff. Well, that's fine. Plus it's for charity, that's good, right? Yeah, Jake Leneva. That's right, that's where we're going. Looking forward to HeyWoah Tournament Report content. I don't know about that. I'm bringing Beastclaw because I didn't want to buy new models. 4th edition made Beastclaw really bad, and Gutbusters pretty good. But I'm not trying to buy a whole bunch of models at this exact point in my life. So I'm just going to bring my guys, and I'll probably get blown up. But I don't mind. I'll drive monster trucks around to make some dice rolls. I'll have 5 good games against nice people. No big deal. I got all day. Yeah, Cox Enormous. Thanks for the $5, Cox Enormous. I love the Mo Sizlak names. They're just so good. Yeah, thanks a lot, Souk Madik. Appreciate it. Thanks for the 100 bits. Anyway, should be a good one. You got a 3-game, 1-day event tomorrow. Here's hoping you and your Iron Boys can do anything better than 0-3. Oh, and your name is a little salute emote. That's funny. Hey, good luck. Statistically speaking, Ironjaws aren't particularly good right now, which I'm sure you're aware of. But look, my army sucks right now as well. And I'm gonna go to an event and maybe I'll win a game, you know? But I'm gonna have fun anyway. Find yourself a game that you can enjoy, even if you don't do well. Just kind of a nice thing to have. Monster trucks with Honda Accord tires? That's like fucking Marge Simpson with Makoto movements.
Good job, King.
Yeah, true. Mike Scarberling is a tier 1, 29 months. Fun? Never heard of her. Yeah. I tried fun once. Didn't care for it. I see more bots. Yeah. Yeah, the bad news is the app. Crow Roost. Retiers think it's tier 1 gifter to an edgelord. Oh, my kind of guy. Tip my fedora to you. Just saw combined Gutbuster and Beastclaw lists in the Goon Hammer weekly tournament rundowns 2 weeks ago. This Beastclaw might have some play, even if a pure Beastclaw list is suboptimal. Yeah, for sure. For sure. As always, when I'm talking about Beastclaw, I'm talking about, like, Beastclaw, you know. I wish they would maybe go ahead and just combine both of the armies and come out with all new plastic sculpts for everything that used to be Finecast, just so I can stop with this whole my half thing, you know? I just don't want to buy old other stuff. I don't have, like, any Gutbusters, so... I wish they'd shit or get off the pot on that one. If they give me new ogres that are plastic and look cool, if they're Gutbuster or Beastclaw, I kinda don't give a shit, like, as long as they're cool. I'm just not gonna buy old stuff, or I'm not trying to buy old stuff right now, so... You know, there it is. You are very sharp, you've been playing Slavs to Darkness lately. Dude, that army looks sick. He brought Kragnos and 5 trucks and had a good RTT going 1-2 with a behind. Nice. Found AoS is definitely a game you can still enjoy when losing, which is, yeah, it's a good sign, I think. It's a good sign to have a game like that. Not all games are like that. And not all games have to be like that, you know? It's not fun to lose in Magic, usually, in a 1v1 setting, you know? But I still greatly enjoyed Magic anyway. Commander is the type of game that it actually can be fun to be losing or something. But that's different, that came later. They mixed books, but they need to mix the aesthetic. Imagine new sculpting on properly mixed stuff. Yeah, that would be really cool, I think. They're split down the middle between old stuff and even older stuff. You know, over tyrants riding stone horns, except like whoever the sculptor that did the new Rat King guy, you know, like a man can dream, right? Bad news is they're locking the free Warscrolls behind the app as they release Battle Tomes. And that's obviously bad, right? But it goes past that. I guess we'll get to it now. Shall we get to it? I'm sure people had a bunch of hot takes at the very beginning. Maybe I'll scroll up so I don't skip them, if that's all right. A bunch of people are surprised that I'm surprised because they did it with 40k. I'll address that in a second. I think that's a good talking point. Is AoS dead? No. No. I'm generally not the sky is falling kind of person, but if you do something that fucking sucks, I'm gonna say so, right? Are we all migrating to the old world now? No, I don't care about the old world. I never played that game, and I don't like the models. That's really it. Like, why did I decide to play Age of Sigmar when I decided to play Age of Sigmar? Because I thought it had the best models. Only reason I didn't play 40k is because I didn't like the models very much. And anytime you bring up 40k, everyone complains about how bad the game is. And it kind of pushed me away, as well as their community online. The argument you hate seeing the most about this is, well, they did that for 40k, why wouldn't they do it for AoS? Yeah, it's another, okay, so everybody seems to be saying that thing, which is a reasonable take, I think. Doesn't like the models, ogres from Warhammer Fantasy Battle? Correct, yeah. That's why I don't like Gutbusters. On the Beastclaw side, I think the monsters look cool, but the ogres, not really. And all the Gutbuster stuff I really don't like the look of. So that should explain that whole thing. Monsters are cool, Mornfang are pretty cool. On the Beastclaw side. In general, don't like the Warhammer Fantasy Battle models, though. Too old. Boring. Don't care about the lore or the world, which is really important to a lot of people, but it's not important to me. For the setting of 40k, the game AoS, yeah. 40k has a brilliant setting. The setting of 40k is really good. It's so good. I love the setting of 40k. Genius, in a way. But that's it. That's it. In fact, even if you take one step past setting and you start talking about story or plot or characters, you take one step outside the Goldilocks zone of setting, 40k falls flat on its face. I don't care about any of that. It's bad, right? It's just the setting that's good. Everything else is actually bad. I mean, a lot of the art is cool, and some of the like detail-oriented lore is really cool, but it's really just the setting. Everything else is dumb. AoS, the setting isn't good, right? You could describe it in a very general way and use words like planescape and stuff like that. But They just haven't fleshed it out that well. But I like the game, and I like the models. And a lot of the little detail lore stuff is very cool as well. They're good at that. They're good at the little detail lore world building stuff. That's good in both games. We're walking Bairn. So you don't like the look of 80 to 90% of ogre stuff? Correct, yeah. That's why when I picked up the game, there was an army called Beast Claw Raiders. And it was only Beast Claw Raiders. All the Gutbuster stuff was a different army. Didn't even have a book, that other stuff. People wondered if they would even stay in the game at all. And so when I got the army, I liked 80% of my army's stuff. And then, much later, they dumped all the Gutbusters into my book. And the amount of my army that I liked began to shrink. You can see my dilemma. But I didn't want to buy extra stuff because I'm not trying to buy extra stuff. I'm not rich. So here we are. AoS setting is like the setting of a fighting game. It's like a JPEG. Yeah. That's basically it. It'd be cool if the setting was a lot better, but, you know, kind of whatever. What's the term for the thing Warhammer lore does where they hint at something, leave it up to interpretation, and fill out exact details later? Copium is what it's called. They do that with, they sprinkle 100 bits of random sentences throughout their things, intending on expanding on maybe one of them, or possibly even none of them, or 3 of them. And they just put them places. And they let them sit like that for years and years and years. And then the shadow Malarian elf people and the silent bug people and the chorf people, every time they see a sentence, they nut, right? And they won't shut the fuck up about it, but, you know, sometimes one of those things becomes an army later. But usually not. Sometimes shit just comes out of nowhere and you get Idneth Deepkin. Just out of nowhere, right? But that's what they like to do. They put just little funny sentences in someone thought of off the top of their head, and then they can pull the string later if they want to. And 1 out of 20 times maybe they do. And the 1 out of 20 times that they do, all the other people get to point at and be like, 100%. My thing is next. I told you guys. Look at that one sentence, you know. Will you buy into Gutbusters when they get their graphics upgrade? If they look good, yeah. I'm sick of playing a third of an army. I used to play all of an army, and then it became half of an army, and now it's about a third of an army. It's annoying to be in that position. But I don't want to buy old, ugly stuff that I don't like. And so I'm chilling. If they come out with really cool Gutbusters, I'm kind of hoping they do. Well, maybe not Gutbusters, just like, can we just be like one army, you know, and get a new wave of stuff? If it looks cool, I'll buy it and play it. No big deal. You've used a specific term before in a video that encapsulates the idea really well. You're going nuts trying to find it. It was in one of your old Why Should You Play X Faction videos. What's the term for the thing Warhammer lore does where they... Oh, that... Okay, I forgot that was you. I don't know what I exactly used for that one. It's 4 years in between each of my YouTube videos, you understand, because I have a day job, unfortunately. I apologize for that. I'm sure people really like my videos. Several of my videos got a whole lot of views, especially during COVID. And I wish I could continue making more huge videos. Each of those videos takes me like 100 hours to do. And I do have a day job. So I apologize for the not making enough of them. But now that I got Twitch partner, I feel less bad when I'm working on YouTube instead of streaming, so maybe I can find a work-work balance, you know? Anyway, thanks for liking my stuff. I can't remember what I said there in that video, KN. Clue packs. Mystery box, yeah. Ogres are coming eventually, it's just a matter of GW getting to them. Yeah, I think so. I think so. If ogres were getting retired, they would have done so when they did it to the other two armies that they just did it to, right? That's my copium take anyway. So yeah, I'm waiting around. Look, I got my money in my hand like a fucking pigeon at the county fair. And Games Workshop can take it from my hand whenever they feel like it. All they have to do is give me a bunch of cool new ogres. Either type, really, as long as they're new and cool. I got really good value out of my purchases, I think, which perhaps is strange to say about a company with overpriced models like Games Workshop has. I bought a Beast Claw army, and I've played it since 2016. It's pretty good, you know? Just waiting for plastic. WFP, alright? Waiting for plastic. Maybe it should be WOP. Waiting on plastic. You know? I'm going to, Dragonfall. It's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna do very well, but I don't really care. It's not burning a hole in my pocket. Some people it does to them, you know. But, I don't know. I'm gonna have fun anyway. Take your time. Fishmen were a joke rumored army in Warhammer Fantasy Battle akin to the Silent People, so you don't know if IDK count as that? Yeah, maybe. One man's joke is another man's red dot on a map, you know, in his crazy room. The key is to play an army that only has cool stuff, or at least one where the ugly models are all unplayable trash, and it's correct to play the cool models. Yeah, I agree. Which again is what I did when I bought into it, but it's been a long time now. If the key is to play an army that only has cool stuff, then I guess I would choose... What is this? Curious if you had to pick another faction to collect or play, what would it be? Probably Slaves to Darkness, on that note. Everything in Slaves to Darkness looks fucking awesome. Like, the aesthetic is so good. But even that army has an entire extra third of it that are just hangers-on. The really stupid barbarian people, what are those called? Dark Oath? The complete waste, you know? You have the coolest core of an army ever. And then they have a surprising amount of awful Dark Oath stuff that... It's not... The Dark Oath stuff isn't bad, it's just you already have a lot of the coolest stuff ever. Why bother with a new theme? That energy should have went into some other army's second half, like... Throw Fire Slayers a bone or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I like the Slaves aesthetic, and almost all their guys look really cool. So, I don't know, maybe Slaves. If I had to pick some second army. You like Dark Oath? I'm just saying all the energy that went into Dark Oath. Keep the dark barbarian themes. Just, I don't know, have it be something else instead. But I know a lot of people like them. Well, some people like them. Godbusters are still probably one of the most affordable to get into outside of BCR. Don't know. Maybe, yeah. I don't think that factors into it too much. Which seems weird to say, right? Because so much of getting into the game, conversations are dominated by how to do so on a discount, right? How to get your 10%, how to get your 20% off, Facebook Marketplace, find a painted army, you know, all that stuff, right? Which you obviously do all that, but that's besides the point of which army you choose. You know, chances are you're going to play your army for 10 years. What's another $100? You should choose the thing that you're going to enjoy the most for those 10 years. Right? Pokemans. You know, I was too old for Pokemon when it came out. I never saw what appealed to people for that game. I think it's a legitimately bad game. I'm gonna be honest. Pokemon, the video game, like, I don't think they're good games. And the art for the monsters is 15-year-old girl in high school tier who's just learning how to use Adobe Illustrator. It's embarrassing. Art's so bad. I don't know. For the monster design? Maybe it just hit the right generation of people, I'm not sure. Hot takes over here, I guess. Darko should have been all female. Sure. Yeah. Something. I like the Frazetta style as much as everybody else, you know. But the Darkos don't look like that. I think people want them to, but I don't think they look like that. Historically, Warriors of Chaos / Darkness is all about the Pokemon evolution from Marauder to Chaos Warrior to Chosen to Demon Prince. And we're missing good models for the bottom rung of that ladder. Okay. Indentured Servants of Darkness? Yeah, we can't use the S word, right? That's insulting. You think they'll ever do that? I think they might, eventually. We can't call them Slaves to Darkness anymore. It's not PC. We're gonna call them Workers of Darkness. It's like the people who type S2D because they don't want to type STD. Because icky, you know? It's like that, except the next step forward. Servants of Darkness, so you can keep it. Oh, maybe, yeah. Black Desert Workers, the Darkness, yeah. Simps of Darkness, yeah. Do you remember that one year when Twitch kind of lost its mind? And people were getting community struck for saying simp and stuff like that. I'm glad people kind of matured a little bit. I thought the world was going crazy for a year or two there. But it seems a lot of people graduated high school. You've used the term Slaves to Darkness for 40 years. The ship has sailed. Now they can retcon whatever they want. You know? Oh yeah, what were we talking about? The, oh yeah, the app. Okay, so the bad news, obviously everybody knows it. We're talking about the app. Free Warscrolls for Skaven. No longer available on the app. It's locked behind a paywall for just the Skaven Battle Tome, if you own it. So if you're using the app, and you don't own the Skaven Battle Tome, you can't look at the War Scrolls. which is a big deal. It might seem like a little deal, and if you mostly play 40k, it might extra seem like whatever, you know? If you're mostly a 40k player, you might be like, what are these Age of Sigmar children whining about? 40k did that already, and so naturally they were just going to do it to Age of Sigmar, because that's how it works, right? And you would be forgiven for thinking along those lines, you know, for mostly being maybe a 40k person first and an AoS person second, right? And from that perspective, your perspective makes a lot of sense. However, from the AoS side of things, a marketed selling point for Age of Sigmar from the get-go, and reinforced over and over, words from their mouth in their marketing. The selling point for the game was the Warscrolls are free. The Warscrolls are free, the core rules are free. Launch, 1st edition. Realm Gate Wars, 2nd edition. Malign Portents, 3rd edition. Selling point for the game, marketed. The Warscrolls will be free and available, and the core rules will be free and available. And the points will be free and available as well. For the lifetime of AoS, it's been like this. What is it, 9 years? 9 years. Almost a decade. And another one of the selling points of Age of Sigmar is that we don't do a lot, historically, have not done almost any of the 40k bullshit, I'll say, to put it in brackets. We don't do that stuff. That's why AoS is good. Because we don't do the 40k stuff. And we look across the pond at the 40k, at the shit the 40k players have to deal with. And we're like, damn, dude. Sorry to see that. That shit sucks. But also, that's why we think our game is better. Right? And so for those reasons, that's why it is kind of a surprise that Age of Sigmar is now doing that bullshit that causes 40k to be a bad game. Right? Paywall this, paywall that. This thing in a bad way, that thing in a bad way. Were the Warscrolls free? Yes, they were. Yep. And not only were they free, they were freely available on the website, Games Workshop's website, for years. In 1st edition, you could do this, and they only stopped doing it in 3rd. And that was the other big controversy when they stopped doing what I'm about to say in 3rd. They used to have them in the web store. When you clicked on a unit on Games Workshop's website, you clicked on the unit, had a little button right there. You could click it, and it would show you the Warscroll for every unit in the game. So when you clicked on your little Stormcast Liberators, hit a button, it'd show you the Warscroll. Which is just, that's marketing. It's just a store. Made perfect sense to me at the time. Hey, I want to buy your Liberators, right? To me, having them show you what the Liberators do in their game is on the same level of expectation for me, the customer, as I would expect them to show me the model that I'm buying. You know? I want to buy the box of Liberators. Well, what do they look like? It's like the first question. Second question, what do they do in the game? What are their rules? To me, those are equivalent questions that should be answered free of charge instantly at the point of sale. That's because that's what I'm buying. I'm buying the models, and I'm buying their use in your game. And so I should know what they do in the game, and I should know what they look like. And not only that, it's extra good marketing, because tooling around in the app and building armies and stuff and looking at what the other units, maybe Skaven units, maybe Stormcast units, you're a ogre player or whatever, You get to see what other people's units do while you're tooling around and building funny lists out of it. I think that drives sales. Being able to do stuff like that. And it costs them nothing to do that. And it's been a selling point for the game that they have marketed, right? For the lifetime of Age of Sigmar. And so that's why I'm surprised by this. Well, I'm not really surprised by this because I'm pretty cynical about Games Workshop from a business perspective, right? But you get what I mean. I think it's less surprise and more worth complaining about. You know? So yeah, I think this is a little bit of a betrayal. Since that was what they said that they were going to do. And now they have finally stopped. There was a two-step process. The first step was taking them off their website. And they took all the Warscrolls off their website before they made a new website. You know, the new website that everyone hates and sucks? You know, they took all the Warscrolls off of them in order to herd us onto their stupid fucking app. Right? It wasn't enough for them to make an app that you could use if you like. They had to remove really good features from elsewhere. They had to make some of their stuff worse so that you had to go onto their stupid fucking app. Couldn't just coexist, right? Because the amount of overhead that it would cost them to have one intern update the Warscroll, you get typing away, you know, HTML. You have the Warscrolls in PDF because you're the company, you have those already. So the one guy required working on their website to keep those PDFs like on the store page. That's all it really would have taken. This isn't a resources thing. This isn't a cutting corners thing, right? Tightening your belt, you know, hard economic times. They did this to get you on the app. And now that you have to use their app, yet another rug pull, right? And so you can say they did it to 40k. It's not surprising they did it to AoS. To me, it maybe isn't surprising, but it's very disappointing and it's very worth complaining about. Because one of the reasons AoS has been good is because it has not done the 40k stuff for the last 10 years. And it was a selling point of the game that they marketed. They said this will be the case, and it's no longer the case. Maybe they'll backpedal and pretend like this wasn't what they're doing. But that would be kind of obvious, wouldn't it? You felt it coming, but it hasn't disappointed you any less? Yeah, I mean, I saw it was pretty clear when they took them off the website that this was the eventual, this is where we would go. You know, when they took the Warscrolls off the website, the writing was on the wall, right? And yet, still I'm hurt by this. And I think the game will be as well. Surely this will just increase the stonks of Wahapedia. The extra step sucks for everyone, but it's... is it the end of the game? No, it's not the end of the game. Don't be silly. This fucking sucks, and it should be complained about, and it's bullshit. But I wouldn't go so far. Yeah, Wahapedia still exists. Unfortunately, the guy who runs Wahapedia broke his spine or something. He has spine surgery, from what I heard. And so the 4th edition stuff isn't up there right now. But also, another reason why the 4th edition stuff isn't up there is because it doesn't need to be. This is how you beat piracy. We've learned this lesson many times as a society. How do you beat piracy? Piracy is a delivery issue. It's a platform problem. It's a service problem. If you make it just about as easy to buy something as steal it, people tend to buy it, actually. Wahapedia didn't update to 4th edition. You know why I didn't even know that? Because Games Workshop put all the indexes up. I didn't need to go to Wahapedia. Didn't need to. So I clicked on Wahapedia once this happened. I'm like, oh, it's not updated? Why? And I looked into it and the guy broke his back, I guess. But, yeah. Yeah, Gaben did solve this. Although, I guess, nah, the Gaben piracy thing is a decent point, but it might not apply to here too well, right? Because what your rules and Warscrolls do isn't really... That's a marketing thing, I think. It's different, okay? Hear me out. Games Workshop is trying to sell you models and books. That's their business strategy. The thing they make their money on is twofold, unfortunately, because a lot of people, me included, think the game is worse because of this fact, but it is a fact anyway. They make their money from books, physical books, battle tomes, the stupid realm things, seasonal stuff, right? That's part of their business model. They have a factory that just makes books. They bought one. And models, right? It's those two things. And so you might say, why should the rules be free? Do you want everything in the world to be free? Well, no, that's stupid, right? That's like a child on a playground kind of thing. But also, there is a little more advanced thinking going on here. How does a business work, right? I think the rules are marketing. It's the marketing budget, It's such a small thing, really. A small part of the pie. They still sell physical battle tomes. During all the years that the Warscrolls were online and free, and the points were online and free, they still sold physical battle tomes. They sold a bunch of them. People bought them. So whatever profit you got from that, just cut out 1 micron of 1 cent per book, an infinitesimally small percentage, and hire 1 intern to put them on the website in PDF form. Right? If people see the rules and think they're cool, they have a higher chance of buying into the game. Consider it marketing. But the books are outdated by the time they even ship. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good to buy the books. I think you're kind of a sucker if you buy the books, unless you do so for the lore and the art in there, and all the little stories and stuff. If you buy the books only for the rules, you are a sucker, and you've always been one. But I don't think that's why people buy the battle tomes, or I hope it's not. Your only hope is that AoS players have some sense and don't endorse this via subscribing to the app or buying empty battle tomes. Money is the only language Div understands. Yeah, but also consider that boycotts don't work. I'm doing my part. Yeah, all we can hope for is that there's some balance sheet somewhere that says something. But I don't think that matters. The kind of decision making that would cause a decision like this to be made from whatever guy in a suit who said, we need to force people to use the app, so take all the content that we're giving them right now, take all that away, put it on the app, And then once they use the app, we'll suddenly charge them for it. Whoever said that doesn't care about sales data or how many people could have bought something and didn't buy something else. Or here's the number of people that signed up to the app, sir. You know, Battletome sales are down or whatever. Like, a decision so retarded as the one that was made for what we're talking about right now would not be pierced by any sort of like, ooh, hey, 2% fewer people are buying something, right? It's just fundamentally like your brain has to not work very well to make a decision like that. So, yeah, I don't see a way that things improve, really. Unfortunately, this just means that we're kind of forced to pirate to play the game. Which it used to be the value proposition, and now it's just kind of like, yeah, we have to. Okay. Go to Wahapedia, you know, or whatever new next website comes up or whatever, print the stuff off. That's how we have to move forward. It's too bad, really. I liked it when AoS wasn't doing the 40k shit. Has GW ever rolled back a decision that pissed off the whole community this much? I don't know if the whole community is that pissed off, are they? I mean, a lot of people are upset, but that's just sort of the stuff you see if you're online. I don't know how ubiquitous this is. It's hard to tell, isn't it? A lot of people are like, everyone hated that, but really it's just the 3 people they talk to hated it, you know? I don't know. It's hard to ever tell how big of a group something is. Always round down is my general word of advice there. If you're like, man, everyone hated this, no one likes this, everyone thinks my political position, everyone agrees that my political position is good, no one disagrees with it, right? You know, and you zoom out and actually chances are more often than not that you're in some sort of like extreme minority bubble thing, right? I think they'll do whatever they fucking want. And so will I. You're gonna tell me that yeah, we're in the HeyWoah echo chamber right now. We're in the HeyWoah echo chamber wizard tower log cabin in Bairn. So colloquially, for the people you've talked to, it's basically been, it sucks, but capitalism's a shrug. I don't even think it's capitalism. It's a bad business decision. Truly. I mean that. It's a bad business decision to go back on marketing that was working and lock people in a shit-ass app for short term. It's actually like, I think it's bad business. It's bad for the game. Makes it a harder on-ramp to get people involved in it. It makes it harder to go to events and tournaments for people and stuff like that. I don't know if I would blame capitalism. I think it's just a bad idea. Capitalism is kind of like evolution or nature, right? It's pushing from every side. It's all of the reasons, right? And so it's kind of like a nothing statement. What do you think of ginger snaps? I'm not like the biggest fan of ginger, but they're alright. Good question, God Santa. Sounds like they're doing exactly what they did for 40k for their app. Yes. And I just talked about past half an hour why. That's still somewhat surprising and very disappointing. Because the entire game of AoS for its whole lifetime was predicated on not doing what 40k did last time for their worst policies. And having the Warscrolls always be free was a selling point of the game that they marketed. And the marketing worked. The core rules are always free, the points are always free, and the Warscrolls are always free. Has been like that since first edition. It was a marketing thing for AoS. And I think going back on it is a bad business decision. Hurts the game. Anyway, let me catch up on some of these messages. Valve made it abundantly clear if you make getting the thing legitimately easier than pirating, people won't pirate. Yeah, that's it. The price has to be kind of reasonable. Still, you know, the price does have to be kind of reasonable. But only kind. You can still charge arguably way too much. And you'll still beat piracy with service. You just can't be astronomical with it, right? That's all. Part of what makes it a capitalist problem is that it prioritizes all sorts of people getting to make these decisions, which is bad for the game and therefore kind of bad for your community. It prioritizes the sorts of people getting to make these decisions. I don't know, as opposed to what? Some other system of choosing leadership? Like feudalism or mercantilism? What do you mean? People with a bunch of money without much concern over whether or not the game is actually good want to make more money. The fact that they're bad at it doesn't really mean anything except that capitalism is kind of shit. Well, I mean, I guess I don't see like the point though. You just said what I mean and then immediately drew like the two worst examples you could think of. I'm trying to think of alternatives, I guess. Maybe a tangent, I suppose. When your army's battle tome comes out, you get very few, if any, new rules, but now your war scrolls are paywalled, so getting a battle tome released feels bad now? I don't know, maybe. They did say that, what is it, Skaven and... Oh, shit.
You son of a bitch.
Amazing Plibbit. Damn, I'm already wearing the hat. Holy. Nice raid. A big raider. 47 views, thanks a lot. Amazing Plib. Big raider. We can't pick a raid message. Oh, well, hey, look, you know what? I'm bad at picking raid messages too, don't worry about it. Dead Bart? The dead Bart meme? Holy. What's up, Plibbit? What brings you in this day? Dude, you look huge. Looking pretty big today. Yeah, hey, I noticed you streamed all day. I only got to check a little bit of it out, unfortunately.
Twitch Prime.
There was a guy in a bee suit. Frank on the Rocks thinks it's Big Prime. 43 months. My name is Doolin. He's dueling. CJ Busta thanks for the tier 1 sub to Amazing Plibbit. If you guys like VTubers that are actually entertaining, and I say this without trying to be derogatory to VTubers in a low-key kind of way. Amazing Plibbit. Actually entertaining. If you like ancient, like, shit games, I'm talking Nancy Drew point and click. I'm talking Skyrim, you know, old games that suck.
relaxing,
Check it out.
kind of invigorating. Everybody doesn't appreciate it like we connoisseurs do.
Arterius thinks the 5 tier 1s, which perhaps could have landed on a Raider. Please boost my ego. You are the best VTuber. Hold on, I have a soundboard for that. Just a little soundboard, no big deal. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
I'm big now. So fucking big.
I'm big now. Arterius thinks the bits. Please don't boost her ego if her head gets any... Yeah, her head is big, but that's important. As a VTuber, I've done my research. Your head's supposed to be pretty big. That's just how it works. Anyway, we were talking about Age of Sigmar, and we're having a walk. Going on a walk in Bern, Switzerland, I think. We're talking about a recent decision Games Workshop made that I think is foolish. And, you know, it takes away a feature I rather liked, and I think it's bad. So, you know, the thumbnail writes itself. Frowny face, red down arrow, GW dying, question mark, red circle, stock price down. You know, it writes itself. But also don't really worry about it. It just sucks, that's all. And then someone started complaining about capitalism and I got sidetracked.
Oh, big.
Because it's like a pet peeve of mine when people say that. Orterius thinks of 200 bits. Wait, how big it is? Common RNG? No, I didn't do it. Sorry. Pretty close. A lot of the 40k books being released have made their index armies worse by being released. So, yeah, maybe look forward to that, I guess. Oh, yeah, I was just about to say that they mentioned that Skaven and whoever else, I think Stormcast, right? Their battle tomes aren't really changing the indexes too much. But the person who is typing the copy on the Warhammer news page said, oh, hey, but some of them are way different, maybe. They didn't use the word way different. I think they used the most tepid copium stuff ever. So some of them might be more different than these, but the Skaven one is not very different at all. Really minor, kind of sad. That being said, I think we're just in a poor spot, you know? And I realize that. Loads different, yeah. Thanks for the bits. Yeah, because, I mean, think about, really, I guess I just complain with, I guess my complaint is that the indexes are boring and there's not enough different lists you can build from them, and it's pretty simple and streamlined. Too much, way too much, to the point of kind of boring. You know, if they came out with battle tomes that were, like, huge, way more stuff in them, way more rules, you know, 5 new faction or sub-factions, just gigantic battle tomes. Well, that would also be bad, wouldn't it, right? Because then it would just be whoever gets a battle tome has 7 times the rules and everything, and then they're like haves and have-nots humongously for 3 years, just like, you know, just like always. So, like, that would suck too. I don't think you can fix it from this stage. I'm disappointed, I guess, with how simple they are. And it's not really something that you can fix by making really cool, impressive, different battle tomes. Because then the game would kind of suck, right? Because it'd be too much haves and have-nots. I guess there's really no fixing it. I guess I just, it's too bad, I suppose. Is GW publicly traded? Yes. But I think I don't know, the British stock market is different than the American one in ways that I don't know and haven't looked into. So Couldn't tell you too much. They're doing very well. I'll put it that way. They have a 38% operational and a 28% profit margin. So they're doing meaningfully better than most companies ever. It's not like a tighten your belt moment, if that's what you're wondering. GW has to streamline because it's drawing in people who have low reading comprehension? I don't think so. I mean, it's easy to say that, right? Because you could point to any group or whatever, right? Like, what's the old man yells at cloud, right? Kids these days in their TikToks and everything like that. But I wouldn't submerge yourself too much in that kind of doomium. City Buster, thanks for the big revolver ocelot. You're pretty good. Nice, dude. I love the big emotes you can get. It's sick. No, to me, I would say that the reason GW has, well, not really even GW, I guess, Matt Rose, Ratmose and his team, you know, they've really, really simplified and streamlined the indexes because it's easier to balance the game that way. When you don't give people a million options, you give them one good thing and then a bunch of shit that sucks. It means that they're going to play what you designed for them to play. And when every army has one army list, it's a lot easier to balance. And there is a bit of a push and pull, right, between having a balanced game, but still having like a diverse and interesting game. You know, it's a hard tightrope to walk. I don't think it necessarily has to be like this, but maybe they're kind of correlated a little bit. Where the sillier the rules are, the more options you have, the more fun you get to have in list building and choosing this and choosing that and all these weird things and fun, in other words. The more of that you get, the less balanced the game is going to be. And if you want a really balanced game where no one's too good and no one's too bad, and also you want a really creative, fun, every army book has 5 viable lists in it kind of thing, then it's kind of like wanting your cake and eating it too, I guess. Armies of Renown are good in theory. New armies without new model bloat. Maybe. I think Armies of Renown are weird. I don't like them. I don't think I have a good explanation for why I don't like them, though. Maybe let's explore this. Why don't I like Armies of Renown? Because all the rules in an Army of Renown could just be rules in the index anyway. And it doesn't need all the trappings of being in a separate army entirely. You could have just put those fun rules options in the index and not overcomplicated everything. Yeah, okay, I guess that's why I don't like them. Here's the good news, it's a fun game. Yeah. This is really just a fly in the ointment. Which has been kind of the subtext, maybe, of this thing I've been talking about. Game's fun. Chess wishes it had a banger character select BGM, yeah. Shows white or black, you know, and gonna take you for a ride is playing in the background. Balance is overrated. I agree. I'd rather have a game that's a ton of flavor and fun over a game that's been meticulously skewed to a handful of lists. You can always turn down a try hard and save yourself the headache.
Which prawn?
I'd rather have a game that's a ton of flavor and fun over a game that's been meticulously skewed to a handful. Is that what you see as balance? Like when I say balance, do you think meticulously skewed to a handful of lists and your head fills with tryhards and sweat lords and stuff? This isn't an attack. I'm actually wondering. I mean, I don't think that way, but maybe that's the next step. Danielle 55, thanks for the big prime. A little late, ready for snow walkies? Yeah, we're snow walking. You know you don't like allies? I don't like allies. But you feel the new armies are renowned are way too restrictive with army building? Sure, it's nice to have a cool flavored ally regiment, but as you said, that's flavor. Yeah, I suppose. Flavor missing from the actual army. Plus you gotta think of 2 separate army rules for your game. Came in late. What's the AoS bad news here? The app thing. Fun flavor. Come join us in Blood Bowl. Man. This is probably just me. Okay? Because probably the most common opinion I have heard in real life, you know, is like, unironically, the best game that GW makes is Blood Bowl. I hear this from old guys all the time. And that must be most people's experiences. It's just not mine. Blood Bowl, there's nothing in Blood Bowl that appeals to me. I don't know why anyone likes it. I hate the models. I don't like the game. I'm not interested in football. I don't think the humor is funny. It's like, it systematically goes through a checklist, and there's like nothing there for me. I don't know. It's so weird. I'm not ready to call it a bad game. Because that's different. I'm talking about interest, right? Have you played it? Or is it just so ugly and small that it's not worth the attention? I don't mean to be that cruel. I have watched people play a game in a store on 1 or 2 occasions. Watched actively, right? Like, that's as close as I got to playing the game, is watching 2 people play it. 2 people who really liked the game. Almost word for word, your experience with Nier Automata. Yeah, see, there it is. Yeah. Nier Automata, I liked it a lot. One of my favorite games, probably. But even I have to admit that the game starts... Okay, the intro's good, but like... after the first, like, hour 2 to hour 10 is like hella fucking cringe and bad in the way that like anime is bad, right? And so if someone says they bounced off of Nier Automata, I'm like, sure, yeah, makes perfect sense. And then even if they've went all the way through it and they end up not liking it or whatever, like that's fine. I really did though. Do you think that people would stop talking about wanting allies if all the armies were completed and not half-baked? No. I think there's something happens in people's heads and they're just like, I want allies. People just want that, I think. I think it's natural to think that. You look at a game, and the game has factions, and you're like, well, can I pick and choose, or do I have to? That's like the first question maybe you ask. And depending on the game, I'm not against the idea of allies in like all games, for instance. Like, look at Magic the Gathering. I don't play any monocolor decks. All the decks I play in Commander are like 3-color, 5-color for one of them. Most of them are 3-color. Technically, that's allies if you think about it in a certain way, right? I'm playing a green deck that allies in black and blue, right? Or something like that. Perfectly natural to want to do something like that. Or multi-class in a tabletop RPG, whatever would have you, you know. I think there's always going to be that question for it. I just don't think it's good for the game of Age of Sigmar to allow that. I don't think they can handle it. There's too much identity wrapped up in the armies. That's the whole point of the propaganda of the battle tomes, is to propagandize you towards your faction. I think there's too much of that. The things cost too much. It takes you too long to paint them. You paint them with your hands, right? In real life, and then it's finished. Too much identity there. I think that they've baked in on purpose to kind of hook you. To be as lackadaisical with it as, say, Magic is, or something like that. If they could somehow perfectly make it work, then sure, but I don't think they can. The graphics look so real in the new GTA 6. Dude, it's $2 billion. Better look this good. Magic Nut. Good name. Switch hat? Sure. We'll go big. If you buy a single battle tome, would unlock all armies? Nope. That's why it sucks. If you buy Skaven, it unlocks Skaven. The other 25 armies are locked. If you go to an event on your phone, you're playing against someone, you can't look at their Warscrolls on your phone. I think that sucks, I think. And it was such a selling point for Age of Sigmar, the game. And it kind of always has been, right? Our core rules are free, and our Warscrolls are free, and our points are free. First edition, this was their marketing pitch. Second edition, third edition, and now here we are. Following on the heels of 40K's bad choices. And before it was good choices, you know? The inshitification of Age of Sigmar, yeah, maybe. I rather liked that selling point that they came up with for Age of Sigmar before. And I think it really helped the game. Whatever suit made that decision in the past, and whatever suit made the decision to put the Warscrolls on the website for free for 7 years. That was a good one. The one to take it off, not so much. Zinch won't get all the points increases for being better in slaves and stuff. Allies are the same desire for the idea of a dogs of war. Yeah, I think it's... I don't know, I talked about allies before and my little problems with it. But I think fundamentally, your guys should be the best in your army. I think that's like my elevator pitch for why I don't like allies. I think you want to play orcs, so you buy the orc army. And I think orcs should be the best in the orc army. You should play orcs in your orc army. And it shouldn't be better to play ogres in your orc army, because that feels bad for you because your guys suck. You have to take some other army's guys because they're better than your army's guys in your own army. I think that feels bad. And then it also feels bad, maybe, at the same time, that other army you're taking your guys from, they're like, damn, my own guys are better in someone else's army than mine. It's kind of like coming in on two sides of it, I think. I'd rather avoid that. I mean, somebody wants to LARP with Dogs of War or make a display board that has Sylvaneth standing next to Fire Slayers on it, like, okay. But I don't think that's worth anything, to be perfectly honest. That's why Big WoW was such a mistake for them to make. Somebody brought it up in chat, yeah. I mean, if they could somehow make it just perfect, then fine, right? But is there a legendary creature you think is reminiscent of Ogre Impact Mortals? Maybe something that deals damage upon swinging before combat.
Twitch Prime.
Yeah, maybe it's the kind of thing. This is the bad version of it. There's a new Duskmourn red impending legend. I don't think he's a legend, actually. One of the creatures with impending. The red one. Like Flame Tongue Kavu. The one with Flame Tongue Kavu effect. Where it enters and it does damage, but then also when it attacks, it does damage to a target. Maybe that's kind of like an impact hit. It's attacking, it does damage to something, right? Yeah, the Red Overlord. Now, it's not quite the same, because an impact hit, it's only the thing that it's attacking, right? And in Magic, you'd be targeting whatever, and usually not the thing that it would be blocking it, but, you know, I think the feeling is there maybe a little bit. If you wanted to be really boring, you could give it First Strike and Trample, right? And that's like the most low-key, not exciting, but still really does what impact hits are, is like First Strike, Trample. Or you could get creative with it and have it be like a trigger or something like that. Give ogres Trample, yeah. Lord Vlanik is Prime, 36 months. Big stream, big sub. Hey, we'll review the SBGL index yet? No, I'm gonna do it tonight, if you don't mind. I gotta get these fucking indexes out of the way. They're dragging me down. I had a rough week, chat. I had to cancel stream Monday on account of driving to Gramps' place and helping him with something. And I've been kind of swamped at work. And these indexes are like, I gotta fucking finish these things so that we can walk bar. I want to play some games. Do you mind if we play some games over the weekends as we move forward? Here and there. I'm not saying a return to Persona waifu games or anything, but, you know, some Road Warden shit, you know? It's a text-based pixel art, gets herself some hot chocolate and a blankie, get some hot chalky, and we just read through Road Warden or some old RPG kind of thing. Try to do funny voices for people. Persona 4, waifu time, blah, yeah. Duskmourn, what if we gave MTG a Domain of Dread? My expectations were, I think it's on me. Maybe it's not on Magic, it's probably on me. I saw Bloomburrow, and I heard about Duskmourn, right? And so I'm in my head as a boomer Magic player. I'm like, they're doing it. Morningtide, Shadowmoor, let's go. Finally, we return to one of the best back to back, you know, ever, is Morningtide Shadowmoor. One of the best of all time. And Bloomburrow came out and it was so characterful and wonderful. Loved Bloomburrow. The flavor was great. The art was great. The cards were great. It was its own thing. It was a magic IP, you know. It was a magic world. They got to get creative with it. I really liked Bloomburrow. It was very good in all the ways. I'm like, see, you motherfuckers. You don't have to make a Burger King food token and a secret lair DraftKings fucking, you know, you don't have to do that. You could just make really good Magic. Remember Magic, the game that you sell? You don't have to sell people the worst Ghostbusters secret lair I've ever seen. You don't have to do that. You know? Fucking capitalism, am I right? But so anyway, obviously they still do. But they did a great job on Bloomburrow. Really great. Fucking capitalism. They did a great job on Bloomburrow. So I guess maybe give or take, right? And then Duskmourn came out, and it's so referential. It's gross. I don't like it at all. About half of Duskmourn is really cool. But there's so much of Duskmourn reminds me of Stranger Things Secret Lair. It's gross to me. It's so like, yeah, it's a Stranger Things Secret Lair, fourth wall-y, real world referential, the cheerleader in something or other video screens, and don't like it at all. Way too much. Horror movie, real world horror movie land magic thing. Gross. Yeah. Didn't like it. But there's still really good stuff in Duskmourn. It's not all bad, obviously. When it keeps to being pretty much magic, it's very good. Unrelated, but going back to StarCraft 1 after 15 years has shown you how much soul we are missing. Are you getting old, or were things better back then? The best, most timeless, highest quality things back then were better. Then no doubt the bad examples that come to your head from modern day, right? But there was a hell of a lot of slop and a hell of a lot of trash back then as well. I don't think nostalgia is incorrect, it's just cherry picking. And be aware of that, with a little bit of a negativity bias, perhaps. Yeah, a lot of stuff had a lot of soul back then. There's a lot of soul being made right now today. We could quibble about the percentages, you know, how is more or less or whatever, but pardon me. I'm having these chalky boosts. If anyone is a boost drinker, or is about to become one, because I don't know, maybe they had a medical emergency or a surgery or something, and you gotta drink these, you know? Word to the wise. There's a bunch of flavors you could get. Well, okay, that's a lie. There's 3 flavors you could get. Strawberry, vanilla, chocolate. You might think, strawberry sounds good, man. I like strawberries. I even like fake strawberry sometimes. Flavor. You know, vanilla, harmless, right? Harmless flavor. You will get sick of them. Very quickly. Only chocolate is the one that you won't get sick of. Don't even buy the other ones. Getting through 6 of them is rough. That's my recommendation. If anyone's recently had an operation. How will they force AI into it? I'm getting mixed signals from that company about AI, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people in charge of some stuff seem to be pretty against AI from Wizards of the Coast. But then a lot of suits seem to be pretty for it. I'm getting mixed signals. They're straight up firing people who make art for them on the Magic the Gathering side for using AI. And then the CEO rolls out in front of a bunch of investors and talks about how AI is the future of art. So I really don't know what to think now about that. Every time the community rises up and says, don't do this, they're like, oh, we definitely won't. And then 1 second later, they're like, now we're doing that. And then someone gets caught doing that and then they fire him. So it's like, I guess I don't know what to think about that. You really hope the artists win that fight? I feel stronger than that. Not only do I hope the artists win that fight, I hope the thieves lose the fight. And that's actually more important, because that's how it will stop. That's the only way that it will stop, I think. Is if the tech bro thieves, the phantom thieves, they have to lose that fight. You can't commit copyright violation 700 trillion times and have it just be okay. And ask for forgiveness rather than permission. If that's okay, then it's over, right? To say nothing about how AI in general has done immeasurable harm to the internet. And made virtually every product that uses it worse. I mean, that's not true. This would get into an entire... I understand that's not entirely true, and it depends on what you mean by AI, and it depends on what you mean by language model, and it depends on what you mean by how they implement the technology. Just understand that I get all that shit, okay? I'm avoiding a giant tangent, right? That's why I mostly brushed aside the other complaint earlier. 'Cause I get all that, but I'm trying not to get derailed. Arterius redeemed me mad, sure. Sure, I'll do that. And then maybe an index. Hey, get up and stretch your feet a little bit for an hour 30. You know? I'll let you get a drink. BRB. Please enjoy a commercial and then a BRB. I'm gonna get a thing from the fridge. What's the bad thing? I'm late. Good meme. Good one. We'll do a Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the
Cream.
Let's find out.
Let your fingers do the walking.
I'm Mr. Buckets. Toss your balls on my top. I'm Mr. Buckets.
What do you get when you press on a can of Noxema?
Great balls of comfort.
You get
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Oh, where have I heard that before?
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in.
I'm calling paramedics and your family, Mr. Miller.
You can make this creamy cheese sauce in seconds with American cheese and
cream
mushroom Lipton cup soup. And you thought cup soup just made soup.
Oh, yeah. Cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute,
and there is
more real meat. You'll be glad we made him taste better, and so will he.
Welcome back to 106.9, The Woah FM. How you guys doing? Doesn't bad mean good if you're down with the kids. I don't know if there's someone less down with the kids than me. I am fucking old and out of touch. And I'm a hermit who never goes outside or interacts with people if I can help it. Maybe this is a touch loud. I check my mail maybe once a week. The only time I leave the house is to go grocery shopping and take care of my ailing grandfather. Aside from that, I'm in the log cabin wizard tower, editing something or color correcting something or doing whatever, writing a script. I'm not with it. I'm not hip, as they say. Can't wait for the future where the only movie star we watch is the CGI face of deceased Will Smith. I don't even want to watch that. I never much cared for that guy as an actor. But I suppose it's not exactly revolutionary to say that at this point, is it? Don't forget to leave yourself time for simping. Don't worry. Don't worry your head about it, even for a second. Since you only play casual narrative games, you're kind of looking forward to the Path to Glory hero creator. Yeah, you know what? Speaking of good news, because we should, you know, I try not to be Mr. Negative Nancy over here, right? Because channels that only do that are, to put it as diplomatically as I can, tiresome. I really do like to point out when things are cool, man. It feels good to be excited about something, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I think the Path to Glory hero creator is cool. It reminds me of the Anvil of Apotheosis that they gave narrative players back when General's handbooks had content in them. You know? I think it's cool. I have made fun of Path to Glory in the past on a near constant basis. But, I think that's cool. It's just cool. That's what it's called, Anvil of Apotheosis. Oh, are they using the same name for it? Oh, cool. Nice. There's a little callback. We'll get to the index in a moment. We're chilling in HeyWoah Radio. I'm using this thing as a real slow stinger, you might say. A transition. Well, Simpsons wave. Simp wave? I don't know. Hold up. Simp wave has different connotations. I would like to rescind my previous comment. Based anti-AI HeyWoah. Yeah, again, that's another thing that I don't want to get into a giant tangent about, right? But pretend I have the correct opinion. And whatever you think is the correct opinion, pretend I have that one. And then everyone clap, okay? Same thing with fucking the current bad news. Same thing with fucking capitalism. Just pretend I have your opinion, which is the correct opinion, obviously, right? And then everyone clap. Because that's where we would get to eventually. It might not seem like it. Because I was being a little sassy with that other person earlier. It might not seem like it, but I assure you, at the end of the day, I have the correct opinion that you also have. I just, I just show it differently. And I may act annoyed sometimes, but really what I'm annoyed with is like, pet peeve technicalities and stuff like that. Don't worry about it. What's wrong, babe? Nothing. Oh, okay. That fucking text meme. Anyway, with the heart. Synth sins, that's a good one. Maybe that's what they call it, actually. Dear Twitter, today I had the correct opinion, and everyone clapped. Man, my stream is great. A while ago, chat helped with some TTRPG recommendations, says Drufus. Got a group together to play Heart. The band? Those chicks can belt, let me tell you. I'm a fan. Just helping them finalize their characters, just cheers to the HeyWoah enjoyers for encouraging to start a group. Yeah. You know, I played a lot of Magic for 25 years or so. I played a lot of Age of Sigmar for 8 years or so. I've played a lot of this and a lot of that. But the thing I've played the most, and the thing I started with, was tabletop RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons. And so that's my longest love. Even before video games and computer games and all that other stuff. TTRPGs, Dungeons and Dragons is what I started with. 4th grade, 5th grade maybe. So I appreciate that. I hope you have fun. But HeyWoah, I've been clapping the whole time. Guys, I'm really good at being pretty diplomatic, but also the process of getting there is tiring and I want to skip it. Yeah, see? Pyre gets it. This guy gets it. Easy. Suffice it to say, both you and I have the correct opinions, and we would get there eventually, so no big deal. Oh, SG Arcade showed up in live chat right now. We did that yesterday. SG Arcade streams as often as I upload YouTube videos, that is to say, once a year. And he cracked a mystery booster, and that shit was sick. Spoiler, nothing of value was opened. As in, like, no big pulls or anything. But I think it was a fun stream anyway. It was really entertaining. It got me and the CJ in Discord narrating the whole thing, talking about it. I was absolutely booming every time he showed some card on a huge delay. I'm like, ooh, that was this thing, and this thing is based on that from this old thing. And we had fun there. It was an authentic box opening experience. Yeah, which, that's how they go, right? The value we cracked was the friendships we made along the way. That's right. Rebel against WotC's policies by resurrecting the corpse of Palladium Games, the only games company that wants to send you a cease and desist for liking their products. Yeah. Yeah, look, I really like Palladium Rifts. I like it a lot. It's my favorite TTRPG. And I like it not even despite, I like it because of all the ways that it's shitty. This is like the dirty sound you hear on a record, you know? The way a CD can skip, the silver nitrate you see when someone uses real film, you know? The reasons that an old medium are bad become the beloved in them. It's a place in time. When you're playing Rifts, you're almost playing archaeological TTRPG. Just get into it, you know? I think that's cool. I don't mind having to do that. All these people obsessed with balance, equity, fairness, action, economy. Ooh, this class is too good, this thing is too good, you know? Nah. No, the Dungeon Master will balance the game. That's their job. For you, the player, when you're building your character, I want the most options humanly possible. The most freedom, the most creativity. The most ribbons and doohickeys and nonsense and exclamation points in the rules text. Player and GM are kind of like designer and developer. You want the player to get as creative as they possibly can, and the GM is there along the way as the developer, who hammers out how to make it work. You know, in Dungeons & Dragons, they want to make sure that a level 5 fighter is exactly as strong as a level 5 wizard. And that's reasonable because, you know, you don't want to ask too much of the GM. Rifts doesn't give a fuck about asking too much of the GM. You still want your party to be balanced, of course, but that's the GM's job. You already do that with monsters. You know, you balance monsters for the party you fight. You just want to make sure everybody in the party is reasonably equivalent in some way, you know? Which requires extra work, and that's rough, but yeah. All that being said, my giant preface, Dale Graham, is that I'm no Kevin Simbedia business defender. I don't think anyone is. In fact, I think the closest you could get to finding a Kevin Simbedia business defender would be someone who is just very wistful in a sad way about what could have been. Perhaps. That's like the closest you would get. But man, they made a good game. Well, depends on how you define good. They made a fun game. Thanks for the follow, Master of Plash. Appreciate it. As long as players aren't stepping on each other's toes, you don't need two trap-finding rogues trying to share the spot. Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. Which is why everybody builds their character at roughly the same time, communicating to each other about it. You want, in the same way that you want some semblance of party balance, like tank, DPS, healer maybe, or skill guy, melee guy, you know, however you want to do that, right? $69 people viewing, nice, yeah. 69 on Twitch, 78 on YouTube. Hey, not bad. Not bad. Anyway, shall we do an index? Is that alright? Been super checked out of AoS since a little before 4th. How's it going? It's alright. The indexes were a big letdown. Army rules are very streamlined and simplified, almost to the point of kinda boring. There's only one good list per army about. But the core rules and the game itself has never been so good. Really excellent. And the game is really balanced. Relatively speaking. With Games Workshop. That last part of the sentence is going to do a lot of heavy lifting for that statement. You saw they did OBR, which makes you a little sad. Yeah, OBR... They didn't do a good job with OBR. They didn't do a good job with KO. They didn't do a good job with the Beast Claw half of Ogres. Iron Jaws, Sons of Behemoth, Nurgle, Sylvaneth, Slaaneshi, in my opinion. If we're talking about fun cities, you know. It's a mixed bag for the battle tones. But the game is really good. I have like 2 complaints, period, for the game itself, which is crazy. I'm talking all the core rules and everything, which is really stellar. I only have 2 complaints with the game itself. So, that's huge. Individual battle tomes, that's a rough one. List building and manifestations, close. Close. I think manifestations are a balance issue, not a mechanics issue, really. So maybe I'm cheating a little here. But list building is the first one, you are right there. List building and battle tactics. Manifestations is a balance issue. They're just not balanced very well. And you're allowed to spam them, I think, which is a bit much. But yeah, it's a list building. That's the big one. List building has never felt more restrictive and not fun. And everything is one drop, and there's no way to get an extra thing or two if you don't care about drops, which I think is unfortunate. Yeah, list building is really the problem. If you had to pick one thing, my choice would be to fix that. And then the addition's really good. You missed Third's list building, flawed as it was. I thought it was, I mean, obviously it was flawed, right? But I thought it was kind of a slam dunk fix. Here, let me lean back in my chair and put my arms through my belt loops here. Now I'm not a big city games designer. You know, fucking country lawyer. I felt like the dynamic between building towards drops, and hence control of priority, versus building towards ribbons, like extra artifact, extra command, whatever. I thought that was a fine push and pull. Obviously, building towards drops was way better. I just felt you should even that out a little bit. Give people more ribbons on the other side. I think you should be able to choose between either building towards low drops if you want to control priority, or you can eschew that, and instead you get a bunch of free shit, like candy, right? extra artifact and command trait, and 1 free command point that you can spend at any point in the game. Maybe 2. Whatever it takes to make those 2 things a real decision. I think that's what I'm talking about, is basically a third, except a little more balanced, right? Let people who don't want to care about drops and don't want to care about sweat and don't want to go for the double, let them have all the fun, cool stuff and fill their shopping cart with so much fucking cookie crisp that it actually maybe evens out. I think that's the way to go, personally. Instead, it's, nope, everyone's drops. That's it. No, everyone's just drops. If your army can't quite do that, fuck you. I think that's unsatisfactory, but it's the way they chose. You think manifestations make wizards way too impactful? I agree. Wizards should be strong, but because they have cool and interesting spells in their lore. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, my problem with manifestations is their outsized importance, which to me is a balance issue. A manifestation lore probably shouldn't have 3 manifestations in it. 3 seems like a lot. Probably shouldn't be able to summon them on the opponent's turn or something like that, right? Anyway, yeah, the balance is off on manifestations. As to how to fix it, there's a bunch of ways you could fix it. I hope they do. What if the jank list building is load-bearing? Do you think fixing it might highlight some other issues that are not currently a problem because of the restraints? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how rule systems always work, Mike Scarborough. I think you're right. For instance, priority is load-bearing as well. If the game was just you go, I go, they would have to address some titanic issues that would require rewriting the game from the ground up to such a degree that 3 to 4 looks like a walk in the park. If they, for instance, got rid of priority or something like that, you know. But that's what all systems kind of are. They chose to do one thing, and they're doing this and not doing that, and they all kind of intermingle. Just having the ability to build a list around an extra artifact or whatever is nice. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I didn't think it was worth it. I thought it was better to go for drops. But I liked the choice you had. I thought that was cool. I just think that side needed to get pumped up. Maybe 2 artifacts. Maybe artifact or trait. Maybe both. Maybe an extra enhancement. Maybe extra commands. Maybe a fun bonus power. I don't know. You could come up with a million things. I think that side of the scale just needed to get tipped a little bit. Some people like to go for drops and like to control priority, and that's typically the competitive thing to do. But I think a lot of the community really just wants to put more fun shit in their armies. And they're not trying to sweat through drops and stuff. And I think you should let them have their fun. You know, game's not for tournament players. If the game was for tournament players, the game would look nothing like the game right now, right? Seasons are for tournament players, I guess, or something. I don't know. I guess I'm looking for a little more doohickeys and ribbons and medals of honor and fun stuff. No more walking. Well, I wasn't planning on talking this long. It was going to be a little, we'll be here for a minute or two and then I'll go to the index. But then people started typing interesting things in chat and now we're having a conversation. And I'm locked in my self-imposed prison of being on HeyWoah Radio here for longer than I intended. I hope you don't mind. Also, faction manifestation should be more attractive than generic. Yeah, isn't that crazy that that's not true? You know? Isn't that weird, Galactic Froggy? It's nuts. The generic option should be worse than the specific option for the army. That just seems like bedrock foundation, yeah, truism kind of thing. Like, of course. If your army gets its own spell lore, it should kick the shit out of the generic choices everyone gets. That's just science. Imagine chatting with chatters. I like to chat with chatters. I even like to chat with chatters that are annoying or disagree with me or something. That's still fun. Because maybe it produces an interesting moment or something, right? That's what I find cool about Twitch. You get to talk to chat. And you get to... and if you don't want to get on a tangent, you can invent a meme. And then, hey, everyone, your opinion is correct and I share it. But we'll just save time and not get into it. I like that meme. Mr. Woe always chats back. I mean, sometimes I don't, but I don't want people to take it personally. A lot of times I just miss it. It's not that the chat is moving quickly, obviously it's not. I'm not 1,000 viewer Andy. But I'm reading 2 different chats, I'm clicking all through stuff. I'm a streamer, you know, I can't read. Sometimes I just miss your comment. I don't mean anything by it. I mean, for sure, sometimes I just straight up don't read it. Because what you said is, like, irrelevant or stupid or something, right? Sometimes I purposely don't read a comment. But for you, on your side, there's no way that you could know why I'm not reading your comment. So, consider, on average, I bet I just missed it, really. And so I think that's maybe the default. I like to just address things. I found honesty is a good policy. Sometimes you just like address the situation and that diffuses it. Or at least it explains it. And it can produce a funny moment. You're at the grocery store and the lady says, enjoy your groceries, and you say, you too. Fuck. You know. And then after that you're like, okay, so I was prepared to say you too because I thought you were going to say something like, have a nice day. But then you didn't say have a nice day. But I still went with the you too. Because it was loaded up in the chamber and I pulled the trigger. But I don't mean that you should enjoy your groceries. Because clearly at this moment you're not buying groceries. It is I who am buying groceries. And then the lady is like, I'm about to call security. And you're like, you too. And then you like run out of the store and then you run back in because you forgot your groceries. And then you're like, I was going to run out of the store, but then I forgot my groceries. And so now I'm picking them up. And she's like, I have just called security. And you're like, okay, you too. And then you run out again and you get to the parking lot and the police are already there. And they say, someone fits your description, and you're like, I have a twin brother, and they're like, okay, carry on, citizen, and then you just leave. Isn't that a lot better? The Daigo Perry of conversation. The aristocrats. I'm in the Wizard Tower for your benefit, not mine. Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna betray your brother HeyWoah like that? Don't worry, I made it up. Also, I defeated him at the climax of a character arc. And I'm the you know, Jet Li's the one, right? That's me. Except of all the multiverse HeyWoahs. And now I'm coasting. Figuring out what to do with my infinite power and infinite life. And I use it to show 150 people maybe Simpsons and invent grocery store situations. Explain about Age of Sigmar. Brother, do not make me destroy you. And the perils of immortality. Anyway, poof. How you guys doing? We're back. I gotta get through these fucking things. And this one's kind of cool. Oh, jeez. Yeah, apologies, Vampiro Normalis. But it can't be helped here. Yeah, I was here the whole time. I wasn't driving in my car, remote desktoping with the Simpsons thing up. 5-hour stream, Basadio. I'll tap that music down a little bit. Actually, oh geez. I haven't tested if this music is safe, and so to save SJ Arcade's life, I will turn off the music. It's safe on Twitch. I don't know if it's safe on YouTube because I didn't stream YouTube yesterday. So, better safe than sorry. That's what I sometimes say, you know. Soulblight Wavelords, I'd buy it. SBGL is the only one of the faction packs that actually makes you want to play the faction on its own merit, says Dale Graham. I played against it a few times. I have played against it a few times, and it looks fun. It seems pretty good. You can do... This is one of the few battle tomes that you can do multiple things in, which is something I value greatly. Right now, as you know, we're working on the hype tier list, like how hype I am after reading the index. And it's graded on a curve, because I'm trying to be positive. Okay? I'm grading this on a curve. If I wasn't grading it on a curve, Slaves to Darkness would be mixed but seems good. Korn would be mixed but seems good. And everything else would be at most doesn't exactly spark joy. At very most. But I'm grading it on a curve, and so we have people in the nice tier and stuff like that, because I don't think the 4th edition indexes are particularly hype at all. Anyway, a little explanation there. Let's go over the battle traits, shall we? Once per turn army, end of any turn, the hunger. Each friendly vampire that used a fight, and they get to heal. They heal 2d3 if it destroyed an enemy unit using its fight ability. This is cool because it does not use the shit d3 that doesn't work a third of the time. You just heal. I like that. This is good. And healing on your vampires is really it's a good ribbon. Nice work. It used to heal more, so I don't know how much we'll get into how it used to be. You know, you used to be able to heal, I think, up to 6 or something like that. So the healing is less. But I guess that sucks. But compared to what other people got, I still like it. Hunger's nice. Nice ability. And it just works. I mean, it doesn't just work. You have to, like, live, right? You have to survive the combat. And you have to roll well enough to destroy the whole unit for this thing. So that's where the randomness is in this ability. And since there's already randomness in it, you don't need to add an extra one with the shit D3 roll. So good work. What happened to the good piano music? Apologies, Mechrat 2. But I haven't... The thing that I was playing, Macro Blank, over there, I haven't tested it on YouTube yet. And so I muted it because SJ's going to put this up on HeyWoah Plus. And I don't want to get him fired by me. Deployment. Pick a Death Rattle or Deadwalkers. And you can put it in reserve, sure. And then your movement phase. Set up wholly within 6 of a terrain feature. And more than 9 from all enemy units. Okay? Wholly within 6 of a terrain feature. No more choosing the little thing. Deep strikes, even conditional ones, are good. Good little option. What happened to the... Oh, you mean the old piano music? You mean the Katawa Shoujo hallway music from the other VODs? I stopped doing it because too many people complained about it. Should I not cave to the whiners? Are they whining? Or is it a good point? Sometimes it's hard to tell. You know? I guess I've already done it for 70 hours of the 100-hour every index video, so who knows? But I try to take feedback if I think it's, like, good. You know? You like the piano music? Katawa brokers no argument. Fuck 'em. You like the piano... Alright. Alright, well, if you want your voices heard, watch me live. Eat shit. It's back. Anyway, you know, you try to listen to people's suggestions, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what's the right course. Anyway, I like the piano music, and I never get sick of anything, but I think that's like part of my weirdness, maybe. And so that's why it was hard for me to decide that, because I never get sick of shit like that, but I think most people do. Anyway, once per turn. Deathly Invocation. Pick a friendly Soulblight hero up to 3 Death Rattle Deadwalkers. Wholly within 12 of the hero. If it's damaged, heal 3. No rolling, it's just 3. Nice. If it's not damaged, return number of slain models. Combined characteristic 3. I like this being a 3 here. Not just because it's a higher number than a D3. Saves a little time. Army like this, you gotta... Especially with horde armies, and Soulblight is definitely a horde army, right? With armies like that, you have to be really conscious of how much rolling you're asking them to do, how long their phases are going to be. Because their movement phase is already going to take forever, because they have 100 guys or whatever. So as you're designing the rules for an army, you have to be conscious about how it's going to play, and how long it's going to take in each phase to do something. And so, you know, in general, I think, especially for horde armies, that's something. If you're playing Sons of Behemoth, where your army is 4 guys, you can probably give them a whole bunch of rules. Because at the end of the day, their movement phase is going to take 12 seconds. And so they're not really wasting a lot of the opponent's time by having a really long hero phase, say. Or a long shooting phase, say. Because movement is like... go. You know? But an army with 1,000,000 clan rats or 1,000,000 skeletons, and then 5 wizards, it's like, oh geez, let's make sure that, you know, you keep the pace snappy. Even with movement trays. Could you eat ramen for every meal? Same flavor, but your choice of one. What would I get in return for doing this? If it was an equivalent trade, yeah. It takes me a long time to get sick of the same food. But eventually I kinda do. Depends on the food, really. I really like ramen. But ramen is also, it's a lot, right? And I mean like not instant ramen, obviously. I ate enough instant ramen in college to last a lifetime. I ain't trying to go back to that. But ramen is really filling, and there's always a lot of it, you know. It's not the healthiest dish. So you'd have to keep that in mind as well. But I really like ramen. It's probably one of my favorite foods. Anyway, once per turn movement phase. Endless Legions. Pick a friendly non-unique Death Rattle Deadwalker. Set a battle with 2 or more models, so no hero. Set up a replacement unit. Rounding up half the models, wholly within 12 of a hero or within 6 of a terrain feature. If it's your movement phase, you can set up the replacement unit more than 3 from all enemy units, instead of more than 9. But if you set it up within 9 of any enemy units, that kind of use charge abilities. This turn. Okay. What's the ramen to sub ratio? There's a bad ramen place near me that sells like $14 ramen. And then there's a good ramen place a little farther from me that sells like $17 ramen. And I prefer to go to the one, I think $3 is a differential that I'm willing to absorb. To have ramen that in these 2 places, really twice as good. So about 17 bucks. When someone subscribes, I get maybe $3 or something. Possibly a little less. I qualify for a 10% bonus because of Partner Plus and another 10% for Partner. So I'm getting like 70% cut instead of 50. Off of $5 or whatever, $6 is it? Something like that now. They keep raising the price. Because everything, you know, the price of everything always goes up, right? So although another reason they just raised the price is because they did regional pricing, and so a lot of subs from random areas of the world are worthless. So it kind of depends now. It kind of depends where the sub's coming from, weirdly. A lot of people use VPNs and they'll sub to you from like some country where the subs cost 5 cents American, you know? And so it looks like you're getting subscriptions, but actually you're getting nothing. Anyway, that's a tangent anyway. Anyway, I like Endless Legions. I have a concern. Possibly doing it in any movement phase. Do you think that's too good? That seems really strong. To be able to set it up on the opponent's turn. I think that's really strong. In my games against SBGL, it was very strong. The trick to instant ramen is adding veggies and a drop of sesame oil to add some flavor. For instant ramen, it's not really a trick, right? Because you're just adding money to it one way or t'other, right? But you gotta put an egg in there straight away. You gotta put an egg in there. You gotta put chili oil in there for sure. Those are non-negotiable. Chili oil, egg. After that, sesame oil is a good one. Shiitakes are good. Little bamboo shoots. I rather like those. Maybe one of those little swirly whirly fish cake things. It depends on how much money you want to put into it, I guess. And the whole point of getting instant ramen is that it's really cheap. So, I don't know. For me, I'll put an egg in it and some chili oil, and then I'm chilling. Some people put, what's that Chinese cabbage called? Bok choy. Some people do that. I really don't like bok choy, so I don't know why I brought it up just now. Anyway, good talk. American cheese in instant ramen? That sounds very disgusting. Pick 2 friendly ramen dishes that were eaten and return them to the plate. Round it up. Anyway, Endless Legion's really good. Doing it on the opponent's turn. Maybe too strong even, but it's obviously it's really good. If you're reading through this and this is your army, you're like, hell yeah, brother. You know, yeah, it costs a command point, but it's super strong. It's the battle tactic killer, right? It's the gotcha. Really strong. And so looking at these battle traits, what does this mean? Vampires get to heal, so that's some good sustain there. And then everything else is about zombies and skeletons. And the abilities are really good, especially this one. So, what does this tell you? Well, it is the zombie and skeleton army. Always has been, always will be. If you love zombies and skeletons, you will love SBGL. Seems good. You like to make your ramen with requayo. I don't speak Brazilian, which is surely no surprise to you after what just came out of my mouth. But the phrase Brazilian cream cheese, you have my attention. I'm interested in those 3 words. That sounds delicious. I don't know what it is, but that sounds good. Battle formations. Legions of Shaiish. Horror unending. Pick 1 additional target when using the Deathly Invocation ability. That would be 4. 4 different units, wholly within 12, unlikely. Maybe someone who plays this army can correct me here, but this one seems to be a whole lot of nothing. Bacchanal of Blood. Add 1 to casting rolls, friendly vampire units that are not in combat. And add 1 to wound rolls for combat attacks made by vampires that charged in the same turn. What a sub-faction. This is awesome. Hey, do this on all the do this on the other ones. Why don't you? Do this on mine. This shit's great. +1 to cast when you're not in combat, and +1 to wound when you are. That's some hungry and eating shit. Great. I mean, you gotta be in vampires to do it, sure, but what a great sub-faction ability. Love it. Good work. Love to see it. Damn, I really like this one. Great work. Death Stench Drove. Bad name. Should have picked a different one, I think. Once per turn, army, end of any turn. Dragged down and torn apart. Pick up to 3 friendly dead walkers to be in combat for each move. Oh, just any 3 dead walkers in combat, huh? Nice. Once per turn, army, end of any turn, so each. For each target, either make a pile-in move, or, well, not or, then. Pick an enemy unit in combat with the target and roll a d3 on it. 2-up, inflicting on them more. Okay, sure. Yeah, so this is just, this is Gulping Bite. This is what Gulping Bite used to be. You do a shit d3 roll, you do a little pile-in. It's up to 3 of them. They have to be in combat. It's death. It's zombies specifically. Happens every turn though. Kind of neat. +1 to wound on your elite units. Thanks. Colon mark. Oh, do they wound on 2s or something? Should I check? Should I read ahead? Anyway, Gulping Bite is not good, but I guess it's something. It's not great. Tie to Bones and Blades. Add 1 of the random characteristic melee weapons used by Death Rattle that charge same turn. If the unit has fewer models than the attacking unit, Does +1 rend actually matter on skeletons, or do they just do 0 damage regardless? I'll make that decision later, but I don't think your skeletons are trying to do damage. And I don't think +1 rend if you happen to have charged is worth it either. The cool part about having a giant blob of 40 random idiots that keep regenerating is that you don't have to get the charge with them. You can get the charge with your Blood Knights or something. And then these guys are just chilling. So I think this one, Bacchanal of Blood, seems like really cool and fun. And the other ones I don't rate. But my opinion might change when we get to the Warscroll section. Hero traits. Once per turn your hero phase. Pick another friendly Soulblight Gravelords unit within this unit's combat range, okay? Once per turn your hero phase. Roll die 2 up. If the target is not in combat, it can move d6. If it's in combat, it can make a pile-in move. But not attack, just a pile-in move. Another friendly, so 2 up, you d6 move some guy. Alright. I suppose that helps actually. A lot of your stuff is slow, and it would be cool to do this to something that isn't slow as well. Happens each of your turns. Sort of a free run, if you want to think about it that way. I like it. It's good. Unbending Will, once per turn your hero phase. Pick friendly Death Rattle or Deadwalker's unit that has 2 or more models, hold it and add d6 to the control score for the rest of the turn. Whatever. Unhinged Rampager. Reroll charge rolls for this unit in your charge phase. Are you using a Velocita? I'm not sure. You can spend a command point for that. I like Lash. It's too bad they can't use it on themselves, but still I think it's good. Of these, I think I like Lash. Artifacts of Power. Orb of Enchantment. Pick an enemy hero in combat to be the target. Once per battle. So, against the hero only, they strike last. Bad. Shard of Night. Ignore modifiers, save rolls, shooting attacks. Okay. So ignore rend when they get... if it's possible to get sniped. I don't think it's... Are you even getting targeted? Most of the time, no. You're next to stuff, right? I guess there's like 3 enemies in the entire game that can ignore Lookout Sir in some way. But that seems like a really narrow artifact. Reaction opponent declared a spell ability for a wizard. Roll d3, 2 up. Inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. If the target is destroyed, it harvest the spell. Yeah, okay. Artifacts, not interesting. Lash of the Sire is good. I like that. So your traits and artifacts are like, whatever, kinda. You're in Named Character Edition. Oh, do you end up just playing named characters, and so this is irrelevant? That's too bad. Spell Lore. Cast on a 7. Friendly Soulblight Gravelords Wizard. Visible enemy with an 18. Roll number of dice equal number of models in the target unit for each 6. Inflict 1. If any models are slain, heal d3 the caster. Really bad unlimited spell. That's too bad. Prison of Grief. Visible enemy 12. Very short range. But they have strike last. That's strong. Okay. Prison of Grief is really good because you can cast it on your opponent's turn. And sometimes give them strike last on their turn, although you need an 8 to do it. I guess you have +1 to cast. Really hard to cast. But if you get it off, it's like a massive win, right? Huge win, if it works. And then Waste Away. Visible enemy within 12. For the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of target's melee weapons. Okay. Once again, you can cast it in your opponent's turn, but with a really short range and really hard to cast. And it's a silver bullet, but it devastates 2 damage opponents, I suppose. Your spell lore is very expensive, and most of it is only good on the opponent's turn and really random, but has the potential to be devastating when it happens, and your unlimited spell's bad. Okay. And then we get to Nagash. You're out of loop. What are we looking at? Soulblight Gravelords Index. I'm doing a thing where I'm going through every index ever. We have like 3 left after this one. So it seems like I'm looking through this much after the game came out, but it's because we had 26 of them to go through. Such is his power. Silverbolt in the werewolf army seems counterproductive. Good meme. Shame Vile Transference used to be good. I mean, I suppose it was a D3 and then you heal a little bit. It was Vile Transference was like good for Nagash because you just had to find any way of causing him to get some of his wounds back and spend those things. I liked I thought the standout spell from old Legions was the one that made you move really fast. What's that one called again? They got rid of it this edition, because getting rid of fun things is the name of the game for 4th edition indexes. What was that one called? It was in the vampire lore and it let you move fast. That one was cool. It was roll equal to the wounds of the target. Oh, was it? Am I misremembering Vile Transference? Maybe I am in that case. Fun is not allowed. This is purely a competitive game, no casual here. I really want to have you understand this, Sir Blame. Competitive players hate the simplified, no fun allowed, get rid of all the bells and whistles things they've been doing. This isn't a competitive player thing. They hate that. This isn't really a competitive versus casual thing. We would prefer it if they kept all that extra stuff and then even added more. The casual players and competitive players this time are on the same side. Vile has changed all 4 times. Okay, so I'm forgiven a little bit. You missed the 9 buff the spell. That thing was cool, where if you cast a natural 9, your spell essentially double worked, like a critical hit. What was funny, in a bad way, was your at the very top of your spell list it said whenever you roll a natural 9, your spell crits. It works twice. And then almost every spell written in it, it said, basically you can't do this twice. Like, it doesn't actually work twice, really. And I thought that was so funny. Very indicative of that era of GW rules writing. They were written in such a way so that most of them didn't actually crit, even though that was your special thing. Manfred von Manstein. He is a 14-3-12-5. He has Geist Vor. 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1, 2. 5, 4, 2, 3, 3. Yo, his companion's got the 3 render. Okay, big render. Double Wizzy, 6 up ward, fly. So 14, 3, 6, 12 fly still. Several attacks. Ren 3 too. Cursed with companion. So you are wounding on twos if you're in that one sub-faction. And this one is immune to that, but it already wounds on twos, so we're fine. The Sword of Unholy Power. If this unit has slain any enemy models this turn, for the rest of the turn, add 1 attack characters to melee weapons used by your shittiest guys that aren't for damage, while they're wholly within 12 of your 12 flying move guy. Well, I'm not saying it'll never work, I'm just saying that's awkward. Reaction, you declared the redeploy command. This unit using the redeploy command can move into combat when using that ability. Please don't. Can you not? That's really good. Graveguard slap, so it's good. Yeah, I carefully... I'm not saying it's bad. I just think it's awkward. It's an awkward setup and effect. I'm pleased that Graveguard are good, though. You say Graveguard are good. I hope so. I think they're cool. Definitely could use a sculpt update. Kind of surprised they didn't in the last wave. Winds of Death. Cast on a 7. 12. What happened to your 16? The same thing that happened to my 21. Now 10. They don't want you going fast. Pick a point on the battlefield with an 18 of the caster. Pick up to 3 visible enemy units within 6. D3, shit roll. Don't like it. You have a fast guy buffing slow units. Yeah, so he can like swoop in and help stuff. And so that's where that works. But a lot of times when you have a fast guy, the good thing about him being fast is he can fuck off way over there and affect stuff. And then your 4-inch move guys are just, you know. So, sometimes it's awkward, I think. A Shigarath's Hungoer. If this unit charged, roll die, 3 up, strike first. Cool. And you could potentially wombo combo in a very unreliable, don't even try it kind of way. Where you spend 2 command points, and then you countercharge, and you roll a successful charge, and then you roll a 3 up and you can strike first on the opponent's turn. But that's that's enough hoops to jump through that it'll never work, right? I don't dislike Manfred here. I think I like him. He's reasonably durable still, and monster heroes in this edition really lost most of their durability. In general. He's still pretty fast, relatively speaking, since everything got so slow, I suppose. Does decent damage. Has a buff that is sometimes awkward, but it'll still definitely work. He's fast enough to be able to swoop in and buff something. +1 attacks is a great buff to put on a big unit of guys, right? If you have 20 guys, it's 20 attacks. Redeploying to combat is super sick. This thing is sort of random, but strikes first is good. He's a double wizard. Manfred's looking kind of good. You liked him better when he could teleport right after fighting? I thought that was annoying in a cool and appropriate way. It was appropriately annoying. I like that. What does he cost? Manfred von Manstein. 410. Okay. As always, I could tap it down. That 10 feels weird. Doesn't 10 feel weird? Make it 400. Come on. Let's even it out. 410? That's weird. I think I like him though. Next. Prince Vordry, aka Prince Longdon. 16,312. Only Wizard 1 though. Damn. Even dragons no longer have move 14. You hate to see it. Shortimare's Miasma, 10 d6 attacks. I don't like that. 3-3-2-2, shoot in combat. Oh, good. 6-3-3-2-2, charge +1 damage, so let's do 3. Shortimare's Maw, 4s and 2s do 3. And then the Claws. The Saint of Slaughter. The Sultan of Slam. Big friendly non-monster vampire that destroyed a unit this turn using fight and is wholly within 12 of this unit to be the target. I don't like that already. Pick one of the following. They get a really cool bonus forever. It shouldn't be within 12. It should be army-wide. I declare this should be army-wide. This is what their sub-faction used to do, and now they put it on his Warscroll. And each effect can only be applied once. No fun allowed. Boo. Don't like it. This is the wrong direction. And then Quick Blood. Cast on 7. You have strike first until the start of your next turn. To me, this is what makes this guy... To me, this is the reason why this guy might be... I keep trying to start the sentence over because I don't think you actually play this guy, but I'm trying to be fair. If you successfully cast Quick Blood, Prince Longdong is amazing. And if you don't, he's really expensive. So, there it is. If you manage to cast Quick Blood, he's amazing. And some people can't like deal with it. So this thing is why I kind of like him. And then Snapping Jowls. Roll die 4 up, inflict amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. That's kind of a snap. You got to charge right, but that's kind of an impact. Yeah, you do get +1 to cast from the vampire rules. What did he cost again? I remember it felt like a lot when I read it before. 480. That does feel like a lot, doesn't it? 480 is a lot. I like Quick Blood. I like basically everything he's doing. 480 is a lot. If you played Prince 4 Dry and managed to cast Quick Blood, I think I would just have to pass the turn and lose. Because I can't actually deal with that. But that's just me. He's not much more pricey than a Velocita. I think a Velocita is a bit pricey, though. But I think everything's too expensive, obviously. Neferata. She's... Oh, damage 1. Why? Ew. Does it do something? Pick an enemy hero that was allocated any damage points by the Ahmed Har. 5 up, destroyed. So she's got the reality splitting axe still. Aside from that kind of stuff, nice Ren 3 there. In deployment, you can move your guys up 3. That's cool. That's cool. I like it. Wizard 2 as well. Happens at the end of the turn, so there's no shenanigans here. She's always gonna get hit back. You're not gonna, like, free kill them, right? Twilight's Allure. -1 for hit rolls, combat attacks, target friendly SBGL while they are wholly within 6 of this unit. Wholly within 6 might be tricky sometimes because it's under your opponent's control. But -1 to hit rolls, even if they're not attacking her, is sick. Really durable. Nice, nice, nice. Dark Mist. Now this thing used to be really good, and it changed a few times, and it's always been really good. Pick a visible friendly non-monster Soulblight Gravelord unit, wholly within 12. And they get ethereal. Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's great. Neferata, good. 460 is a lot. I'm gonna say this every time. Damn, she's way more expensive than Manfred. I wasn't prepared to read that. So just Blood Knights? Yeah, so just Blood Knights. Manfred looking good. Prince Longdong looking kinda random and expensive, but I could see it. I could see it happening. Neferata looking good, but kinda expensive. I'll take good but expensive over cheap and bad 100 times, though. Especially for the hero stuff. Okavai. The Mother of Nightmares. 4 up, ew. 10 slow. Wizard 1, Ward 6. -1 incoming rend. Okay, so it's like she has a 3 up save then. Right, so against combat attacks, I guess. So they could have just wrote a 3 here and deleted this, but instead you get Nightmare's Miasma. And I suppose she's slightly weaker to shooting in that case. Once per turn army, any combat phase, Impaling Talons. If it charged, pick an enemy unit in combat with it. Roll die, the roll is equal to or less than the target's health characteristic, monomortal damage equal to the roll. If the roll is equal to or less than the target's health characteristic, inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. So if you're fighting 1 wound guys, this can't work. If you're fighting 2 wound guys, on a 1 it does 1 mortal, and on everything else it does 0. But against, like, I don't know, some hero or whatever, it essentially does a d6 mortals. Interesting. Alright. Like a hero high wound killer, or like my army. Not necessarily heroes, but just ogres. It's good against them, I guess. Neat. Oh, right, yeah, it's equal to. Pardon me. Yeah. You can still do 1 on a 1. Equal to. Or less than. The Queen's Dick. Cat. Pick a visible, friendly Soulblight Gravelords monster, only within 12 of this unit. So herself. Pick one of the target's companion melees at D3. Oh, neat. Cool. Alright. Wait, she doesn't have companion? Never mind. Never mind. She doesn't have companion. You actually have to target some other thing. Are you playing those things? So what do you do? You have some attacks that, you know, you're 3s and 2s on both of them, and you got a bunch of rend and stuff. 4 up, but -1 incoming rend, only 11 health, kind of slow. No flying. She looks like she flies. No, there is flying, pardon me. I was about to say, wait a minute. She looks like she flies, yeah. Wizard 1. Depends on if you're actually going to use the SBGL monsters near her. I don't think you are. What do you cost? I'm not like... She doesn't do anything that I care about, I don't think. 320? Yeah, okay. I don't know why I would want to play her, though. Like, what do you do? You move slowly and you fight high wound guys? And you buff other things that maybe I'll be playing with, but probably not. Wizard 1, I guess. Summon. Lokavai, not impressive. Kind of boring. Vengorian Lorad. You're a wizard as well. And you just have a shittier attack profile. Pick a visible, friendly, non-hero SBGL monster. Non-hero monster again. That destroyed an enemy unit and is also holier than 12 to heal, okay? Once per turn, any combat phase, Scything Talons, if it charged. 3 up roll a die for each model and the target unit for each 5 up, 1 mortal damage. A Horde Tickler. And then you got Nightmare Miasma as well. Not really impressive, Vengorian Larad. How much cheaper are you? Basically not. 320 versus... Oh no, you're actually more expensive because you can hold on to a artifact and a trait, I suppose, is the reason. They don't exactly spark joy, the Vengorians here. On Chadukar the Wolf. Crit Mortal, cool. 6742. Wizard 1. If this unit charged for the rest of the turn, add 1 to wound rolls for combat attacks made by stuff older than 12. Until start of the next turn, you can reroll charge rolls friendly infantry older than 12. Okay. So you are a wizard. That means it's possible that you have a use. Rerolling charge rolls is good. You have to charge into a combat to give a thing to them. Master of the Pack, also known as ST Arcade. Good one. How much do you cost? Radikar the Wolf? 120 maybe? 170. Alright. Probably not, but I'll think about it. And then Chadukar the Based. 1248. Also Wizard 1. You also have some attacks. Kinda slaps for a dude. For some guy just walking around on his 2 big boots, my man has 12 attacks. Half of them are Rend 2, damage 3, crit mortal. Do you count as a vampire? You do. So these are wounding on 2s, maybe. For just a dude stomping around in his boots, like you're kind of throwing hands. Call to the Hunt. If this unit charged, oh, it's got the same thing. The Beast will out. In this hulking bestial form. Is a frenzied abomination concerned only with tearing apart everything in his path. If this unit is not in combat, it can move just D6. And it can move into combat. End of any turn. Funny. Dude, just moving D6, end of every single turn, I think that's cool. What a neat ability that is. Fun. Armour of the Night. Subtract 1 from hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks target this unit for the rest of the turn. Just that one turn. And just this unit. But -1 to hit and wound is like a really strong debuff to inside out place on everybody around you. As long as they're targeting him. I like this guy. His spell is a little selfish. But this thing is kind of neat, and this thing is really neat. And he's technically a wizard still. I kind of like this guy. Counts as a vampire, kind of slapping. Please don't be 300 points. 350. Alright. That's a lot. 350 is a lot. Look, I still kind of like him. Everything I've read on this Warscroll is like kind of cool. Or really cool. He has some crazy potential with power through. Yeah, imagine. I mean, he's got 12 wound characteristic, right? You charge in there. Give +1 to wound rolls with your friends in that same combat. Maybe you kill something, maybe you don't kill it outright. You power through, and then the beast will out, and maybe you roll high or something, and you can do some like silly... I like him. He's cool. I don't have any statistics to back this up. 350 seems like a hell of a lot. Maybe it's not. Maybe he does enough damage that that is worth it or something like that. 350 feels like a lot, but I like the things he's doing. This Warscroll is cool. And maybe when you put him on the table, he really is worth 350. I don't... Maybe not, but he does cool things. I guess that's what I'll defend him. You can't wait to try out your Sylvaneth. That's one of the armies I haven't looked over yet. Although, so I can't really tell you. Yeah, or maybe he really is overcost and his price goes down one day, right? Evia Volga, the Outcast. Wizard 1, okay. Bat Swarm, Needlers, whatever. -1 to hit her, cool. -2 from attacks characters, the enemy monster, melee weapons that are in combo with this unit. Don't worry. Not really playing those. Total Dominance. Oh, shit. Cast on a 5-ish if she's not in combat. Those turns to try farm for the control scores enemy monster. Yeah, nobody plays monsters. They're bad this edition. That's not entirely true, but it's pretty close to entirely true. Cool anti-monster silver bullet. Maybe next edition. Belladama Volja. Double wizard. You love to see it. 948. Time worn scimitar. Can't fight. That's fine. Wolfguard. Well, this unit is within the combat range of a friendly dire wolves unit. Yeah, but you're not playing them, right? Well, maybe you are. I don't know. We'll read them. This unit has a 4-board. And it's the bodyguard thing. Got it. Add 3 to the control scores of friendly specific friends. Under a Killing Moon. That movie was pretty good. A bit long, but I liked it. For the rest of the turn, add 1 of the Ren characteristic of the target's melee weapons. Target can ignore the effect of the beast. They ignored the beast. So she, like, pumps up direwolves. If you want to play with direwolves, this is the lady to do it with. They bodyguard her for the big 4-up. +1 rend. They can capture suddenly. You have a pretty respectable range on that ability as well. She's still a double wizard. Okay. So she's like the, I want to direwolf it up, and she really gives them the juice. What do you cost? 230, okay. I suppose she is a double wizard with a good spell if you're playing the thing. Yeah, alright. Neat. Hey, I hope direwolves are good. Maybe you can play with them. Instead of being control 1, they ignored the beast. Yeah. The heroes will all be expensive and the chaff will be super cheap to compensate. Probably, you could do it that way. You could point both things normally, though, and it would sort of end up the same way, but maybe not. Alright, the Shoveler. Shovelman. Who you think maybe he's a wizard, but he's not. Well, this unit is within the combat range of a friendly Deadwalker zombie unit. 4-up ward. Pick up to 3 Deadwalker zombies within 12. Roll D3, return number slain. If he's a free hero, maybe. Even then, probably no. Gorslav the Gravekeeper. Oh, he is an eligible free hero. And 120 as well. I still probably wouldn't, right? Because he doesn't, like, yeah, he does this, but whatever. Torgilius the Chamberlain. He is technically a wizard. This unit can use the Deathly Invocation ability even if a different friendly unit has already used it. So you double deadly. And then failing fortitude on a 6. Yeah, not a vampire. Visible enemy 18. -1 from wound rolls. Alright. Thorgilius. 180. And potentially a free hero as long as you're on the other stuff. Although I should note that you only get a free retainer if you take Belladonna, Radukar, or Chadukar. Virko's Bloodborne. Why won't they... Chat, why won't they remaster that game? How come we get Horizon Zero Fun as the, like, 8-time remaster game? They've remastered Horizon Mid-Dawn, like, 19 times. Why don't we get Bloodborne? How come? Asking the hard questions, I guess. For the award show memes? Alright, well, fair enough. Because Sony hates you specifically. Look, it's their IPs to sit on and do nothing with, right? Just like the meme. Your cousin's estranged uncle said we would get a PC port tomorrow. Oh, nice. Alright. Well, I'm content. Dragon Warrior Story Final Boss defeated. Grind success. SG Arcade. Special announcement. Now, when you worded that really specifically, you said story final boss defeated. Are you implying that there's something else after that? I await your response. Cling to the shadows. While each model in this unit is within one of a terrain feature, it can't be the target of shooting attacks. Shadow fast. Shadow fast. Roll die. Sometimes this unit can move at the end of it because it's fast. You're a little better at fighting than I would like for a BT unit, but you can be fast. But only sometimes, which I don't like for a BT unit. But you can't be shot. I don't think this is what I'm looking for. No, 150 for 3. Go Shadow Fast. Show us the meaning of haste. Crow Roost, good reference. Good Shadowfax reference. Watch Captain Hallgrim. It's the guy, and then his boys, right? Ahem. Pick a death rattle that is not used to fight. It pulls them in, but it doesn't buff them, so it's bad. Each time you make a run roll, you can change the roll to a 4. It's actually kind of nice. It's actually kind of nice. And you do care about heroes even if they suck because of Deadly Invocation, right? So, watch Captain Hallgrim. Are you free? Potentially. 110. Alright. I'll think about it. If you're using skeletons. Vargaskir. Oh, it's this thing. The mid-range beast. It's a beast. You 3d6 charge, which is sick, and you can fly as well. But you suck at fighting, kinda. Vargaskir beast. Oh yeah, 180. I don't know. On paper, this looks like a mid-range monster that sits in such a place so that it can't really do anything. You can potentially kill 100-point battle tactic scooper units, but maybe not if you get unlucky, and making it beast is really bad. So I don't know. Doesn't seem worth. But maybe it is. It's not like it costs a drop. Kozargi, orc-looking man. This is the way to give your Chadukar a 5-up ward, but I'm sure he costs more than 0 points, so I don't care. It does look cool. I really like what it looks like. Actually, it looks like a Flesh Eater Court unit. Looks like a, what is it? Vargolf Courtier. Or maybe a Crypt Honker. Hero type. Lady Annika. She's lying in wait and then in enemy territory. More than 9. Kiss of the Blade. Probation. This one save rolls for the rest of the battle. Fuck you in particular. Okay. She's cool, and if the game was filled with stuff like her that you could actually play, and you weren't feeling kind of punished for it, I think AoS would be better. Imagine if you had like a bunch of shit like this. Like just cool little, ooh, this is an assassin hero and it can teleport and hurt somebody. Like, if she costs like 10 points or whatever and you could just do it. I don't know, I think it's stuff like that would be cool. Just take her as an auxiliary. Yeah. You know, someday some really, really good tournament player is going to take one auxiliary unit once and do well with that list one time, and people are going to be like, that's it, auxiliary OP. Everyone was wrong. Got the Rat Man. This guy can fight and retreat on a 2-up, pick an enemy unit in combat with it. 3-up target no longer has the artifact of power. Literally steals the artifact. These people are fun. Crits, I don't know. I think shit like this is fun. It would be cool if there was a game mode for things like this. And then we get the Velazada, the Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Wizard 1, 16-3, 12. Yeah, thought of Adele in my AoS. Sure. Pestilential Breath is really bad. Don't like it. D6, gross. Kinda short range, forced to wound, ew. And a bunch of attacks. The thing that should not be. If this unit charged this turn for the rest of the turns, subtract 1 from the control scores enemy units while they are in combat with this unit. Great. Fun. Here's your Gargant Slayer, right? This is fun. Roll 40 d6. Every 6 is a mortal wound. That's fun. I appreciate them not saying limit 10 or something, because this really is the edition where they make sure to write limit 10 everywhere, right? They allowed fun here, but really only against Mega Gargants. Otherwise, this thing kind of sucks. But I just think it's cool. I think 400's a bit much for it, but I think it has a cool ability. It's weird that it doesn't have a spell. There's a lot of empty space down here for like a monster centerpiece of the army. kind of rando on the attackos. Companion hurts here. Got slower. And then just Vampire Lord, which is also a Wizard 1. 3 up, remove this unit from the battlefield, set it up from all enemy non-hero units and more than 3 from all enemy heroes. You can set this thing up 3 away from an enemy hero. That's cool. Sanguine Blur. It's a wizard but doesn't have a spell. Lots of empty space here. Could have put a spell here. Would have liked to see a spell there. For 160. Nothing personnel, kid. Kato Easy Chair. Leaning back. The Burka Lounger King. Easy Charian Greatsword. Alright. The pommel just has like a love seat on it. Look at all the abilities this guy has. Retribution or Salvation? Retribution or Salvation? New Daredevil. Heaven or Hell. Fight. If the target is an enemy unit, inflict D3. It's going to be 12. If the target is a thing, subtract 1 from root rolls attacks, target that. It's a good debuff. Court of the Lost. 2 up, pick one of the following. Move characteristic of 12. Yo, he's zooming. Okay. Hit the nitrous. Your hero phase on a 2 up, double his move. The turbo button. Add 1 to casting rolls. Unbinding and banishing. Cool. Or the melee weapons have crit mortal. This guy's fun. What a fun man. You got little funny stuff to do. Kato Easy Chair. Man's a vampire too, right? So you could be adding 2 to cast, plus 2 caster, perhaps. Only on your turn though, not on, you know, not if you're unleashed spelling. This is a funny little man. I like this guy, Kato Easy, and he has a funny name, which is important. 180's a lot, but he's fun. I don't know. This guy's neat. Man, a lot of the Soulblight just has a bunch of like cool dudes that at the end of the day you're probably not going to play any of them because you're trying to not lose, right? But I appreciate them giving just neat dudes with neat shit written on them. I like that. Alright, so this is like a unit of weird stuff. Askurgan True Blades. Show person not holding a blade. Okay. Askurgan False Blades. 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1/1. Anti-monster, +1 rend, also crit 2 hits. Elongated Claws and Slavering Mars. One out of 8 of them is a monster, kinda. And the champion cannot replace their weapons, because no fun allowed. Creed of the Askurgan. Subtract 1 for hit rolls to combat attacks made by monsters that target this unit. Don't worry, they won't. Beginning a unit in combat with this curse will be the target. Roll die, 4 up, target strike last. 4 up, strike last forever? Not forever, but... And each combat phase, huh? Cool. You get 8 of them. Is this one of those units where you, like, can't reinforce it? I hope not. Damn. Okay. This kills the crab. I was kind of interested in this thing. You know, 16 of these guys, half the time they might fight first. Technically vampire keyword. I was thinking about reinforcing them and maybe doing some shit with it. But yeah, I guess it's a Warcry refugee camp. Damn, that's too bad. Oh well. Blood Knights. Oh, now I've played against these guys. They're pretty good. You know they're pretty good. 3-3-12-1. They do 2 damage on the charge. Rend 2 and damage 2. Big save, 3 up. Only 3 health, which feels a little low. You get 5 of them. Sometimes 10 of them. Sometimes 25 of them. Depending on your tastes. Rise of Ruin. When this unit moves, it can pass through models in enemy infantry units and can pass through them. But it cannot end the move in combat unless specified in the ability used. When this unit moves, it can pass through models in an enemy infantry unit and can pass through the combat ranges of enemy infantry, but it can't end a move in combat unless specified in the ability used. The ability used to perform said move, right? So a charge you can indeed end in combat, and you can fly over a chaff unit to do so. A pile-in you could, a charge you could, but a move you couldn't. Okay. That feels like a cavalry feeling ability, doesn't it? To trample over men. Makes sense. Trample to dust. Shit D3. Not fun. Fails more often than you'd think. What do they cost? Dealer. Oh, there's a star next to him. Yeah, alright. 230. I like Blood Knights. You like that a lot of cavalry units in 4th Ed feel more like cavalry? Yeah. I think we could go harder with it, but I like the direction. A lot of this, you're just looking at directions, right? I like the direction of making Cav feel more like Cav. In whatever, you could pick a million ways to do it, but I like that. Instead of this weird, like the saucer ride at a fair, that's how cavalry has often felt in Age of Sigmar in editions past, is just spinning, orbiting saucers, just kind of moving. I appreciate when cavalry is a little more... I'm not saying let's get into rank and flank or anything, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying a little less circles and blobs rotating around. Varga Heista. Jeez, they look so bad. Ugh, they look so bad. They're pretty fast. Once per turn, army, your movement phase. They simply teleport. If this unit is not in combat, simply teleport every one of your turns. Now, that doesn't play nice with battle tactics, actually. Because a lot of the, well, some of the battle tactics I'm thinking of specifically don't work if you were set up this turn, which is a bit of a shame. 160, alright. But I'm not going to complain about a free teleport every turn if you want. Or rather, every one of your turns. They're capable of attacking, but they suck at it. And they die to everything, but they're like kind of fast. They look bad. Bloodseeker Palanquin. I'm going to skip this because it's terrible. Same thing with Mortis Engine. Same thing with Coven Throne. Retire this awful thing already. It always sucks. All 3 of the versions always suck. It looks bad. Stop trying. Zombie Dragon. It's bad. Terrorgeist. It's bad. White King. He looks cool. Mortis Engine is good and a hero. Is it actually good now? Hold on. Hold on. Because this has never been true before. Mortis Engine is good, you say? Alright. Shocked face for the thumbnail, It is. a wizard 1. Nexus of Death Energy. When a friendly Death Rattle or Deadwalker's unit wholly within 12 of this unit is picked to be the target of a deadly invocation, add D3 to the number of damage points that can be healed. Alright. The Reliquary. When this unit is set up for the first time, place a stored energy die beside it with the 1 facing up. Each time a friendly SBGL wizard casts a spell within 12 of it, increase the storage energy die. To a max of 6. Once per turn army, your shooting phase wave of power. Pick up to 3 enemy units within 10. In your shooting phase specifically. 3 up, inflict non-mortal damage equal to the value on the stored energy die. Which let's just pretend it's 6, right? The best possible. Then it goes down to 1. So you have like 3 wizards and everyone always succeeds. So on turn 2 you can use this thing once. If there's an enemy within 10 of it in your shooting phase. On a 3 up. And then the energy goes away. And it's a wizard, so it's going to be charging its own die, right? Oh wait, it's a hero. 240, okay. You say this is good? Okay. On paper, this looks bad. But it has the type of ability that could play out way differently on the table. So, I won't be judging this. You know, maybe the healing is enough, maybe it's just kind of charging itself. It's technically a wizard 1. I don't like that it costs a drop because it's a hero, but maybe this is one of the armies that you don't have to care about drops. I'm not sure. 240 doesn't seem egregiously expensive for once, though. There is that. The range on this thing's ability is super short. I guess it has move 10. Combo with Torgilius. Do you actually play that? Interesting. Alright. Yeah, I would need to see this thing in action to really determine it, but I will say one thing. For once, the points don't seem crazy. Which is a big plus, for once. Combos with Nagash. Oh, okay, so you're doing that. Alright, I like it. Any combo at all in this game, and I'm pleased. To bring back 12 damage worth of models a turn. Good. Good. There needs to be more combos in this game. I'm on board with it. This guy helps Death Rattle add 1 to hit rolls. Yeah, hey, alright. Great work. 140, not free. Torgilius, Mortis Engine, 36 hit points worth of models each turn. As long as your opponent doesn't wipe it out. You have 40 guys, they kill 36, there's 4 guys left, full squad. Good. Good, more. I want more of that. Doesn't this guy look so good? Isn't this such an excellent new updated sculpt? It still captures all the soul and feeling of the old one, I think. I really like this one. Just updated for a new age. Really like, always did like this guy. I don't know what he does, but... +1 charge rolls for Death Rattle Cavalry. Is your Death Rattle Cavalry good? He doesn't add anything for the pull-in. So it's sort of irrelevant. And he doesn't really do damage. +1 to charge, is that worth it? You fought this guy in Skull-o-Mance, yeah. Soulblight Gravelords, the army is basically, yeah, it's basically Skull-o-Mance, isn't it? The whole deal. Alright, Black Knights. 2, 4, 3, 1, 2 on the charge. Deadly charge. If the unit charged, its barrel lances have crit mortal. Oh. I owe Black Knights an apology. I was unfamiliar with your game. I didn't realize they just give you crit mortal out of nowhere on your 2 damage attacks when you're charging in. Hey, alright. I like him. I'll take 10. 5 for 160? Sure. Whatever. Cool. I mean, they're not, like, crazy or anything, but I like them. I'm a simple man. I see crit mortal and 2 damage on cavalry, I click, okay? And then GG, the old GG no re. Oof. New models, please. Anyway, you get 5 of them. 4, 4, 1, 1. 2, 3, 3, 1, 1. Crit mortal, at least. Kind of neat. Used to be able to choose between 2 damage or a shield. While any friendly Soulblight Gravelord infantry heroes are within this unit's combat range, both have a 5-up board. Hey, that's kind of nice. Alright, yeah. You get 2 attacks apiece. You're able to absorb some buffs. You have crit mortal, and you give the heroes a 5-up board. And you get that yourself. You're unbelievably slow, obviously, but whatever. Yeah, okay. You could do some shit with Graveguard. Give him the all +1 attack. 150 for 10. Oh, I thought you got 5 of them. Weird, okay. So at the standard unit size, which is 10, you actually get 2 musicians. And 2 standard bearers. Okay. You get 20 of them for 3 hundo. Neat. You just get to double up on the fun things because it's funny. Yeah, it doesn't hurt anything. Right? Like it doesn't actually affect really anything, but that's probably just what comes in the box maybe or something. It's the stupid Six Flags commercial just popped into my head when you said that. Flags. There's the Necromancer. He still has Dance Macabre, which is the reason for him to exist. 3-up, target can use 2 fight abilities. I don't think I want to. For once, I don't think I want to play a Necromancer. Even if I'm doing Death Rattle Deathwood. I think they're just big blobs that sit there. I'm not trying to pile them in twice. Hero slots are very precious. So, yeah, for once, probably not doing a Necromancer. Are you free? No. 140 for a single caster? I get, yeah, I suppose, Galactic Froggy, if you're maximum death starring on your 20 Graveguard, you take an army list of literally every buff that you could put on it. I suppose you could. Corpse Carto. Do you still give a bonus to cast? Nope. Direwolves. It's too bad they make you take 10 of them. I'd rather take 5, you know? But, alright. They're the beast. 10-inch move, though. You love to see it. Alright, so what did they turn into if you take the lady? If you take Grandma Wolfer, what did they turn into? They got +1 rend, I recall. They lost beast. And I think it was something else. What else did you get from Direwolves? I know you ignore the beast and I know you get +1 rend, but was there a third synergy if you take the lady? Or some other lady. I'm scrolling up right now to it. Oh, it was the 4-up ward. Yeah. So they get a 4-up ward, she gets a 4. Or wait. No. They don't get a 4-up ward. She does, and you pass stuff off. Got it. The add 3 to the control score thing doesn't list the wolves. And the spell itself is you ignore beast and you get red. Okay, so it really is just that. I was thinking maybe it was this, the control thing, or... Okay. So now that we have assessed kind of what's happening with these. You got 10-inch move, 20 wounds on a 5-up that's passing off damage from her on a 4-up. It does indeed have a unit champion, which is kind of neat. It can ignore beast, but only if she succeeds at casting the spell, and then you get a +1 rend. And this can use run and still charge. 10. Corpse card can give them crit auto wounds. Alright, and that's useful on wounding on 3s. $10 for 140. Man, I really want 5 for 70. You know? Ah, well. 10 for 140 is still good. I like that movement. Maybe a battle tactic, a BT unit contender. You could do something with that. Dad Walker zombies. You get 20 of them. For how much? You get 20 of them for 150. They're entirely useless. They just don't do anything. They have a 4-inch move. They die to everything. 1 health each. 1 control. Don't even bother rolling their attacks. Just ask your opponent to take 2 damage after 20 of them attack. It's the same thing. And then they have, each time a model in this unit is slain, 6-up inflict a mortal. Which, out of 20 of them, will happen maybe twice. After all that said, they're pretty good. They're bad at everything. But you get a shitload of them, they come back to life all the time. You shift them around, they can deep strike. Sometimes they even do damage, maybe. 40 of them for 300. Fell bats. Ooh, another battle tactic unit, maybe? Hold up. 12-inch flying. This unit can use charge abilities even if it used a retreat in the same turn. I don't want to charge back into combat, thanks. I'll just stay out. It's cool that you get a free retreat, though. Fellbats. Potential BT unit. 3 for 90. Ding, ding, ding. Here it is. Yeah, they have beast, but so does the other thing. Fellbats. Alright. Taking them. They're locked in. Death Rattle Skeletons. You get 10 of them instead of 20. They auto-regen on top of all your other regen. They're technically better at fighting than zombies. And they have a better save. And you get 10 for 100 instead of 20 for 150. Hey, alright. They're good too. Just get a bunch of them and they kind of suck, but it's fine. I think they're neat. And they're immune to chip damage, kind of like clan rats. Well, not immune, but you know what I mean. And finally there is Sakar. Fang of New Lamia. Who? Unique Wizard Hero, Wizard 2 Infantry. Who are you? Is this like some warband or something? Oh, she's the big snake lady. Okay. 5, 3, 3, 1, 2, crit 2 hits. 3, 4, 3, 2d3 companion. Meh. Time Swallower's Maw. Ooh. Once per battle, any combat phase. Pick each enemy unit in combat with this unit. This unit cannot use the Serpentine Agility ability for the rest of the battle. Okay, so this thing goes away entirely if I do that. Roll 2d6 for each target. The roll exceeds the target's move, inflicting the amount of mortal damage equal to the difference between the roll and its move characteristic. Oh, that's potentially a lot. Neat. Serpentine Agility. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack targets this unit is 1 through 4, the attack fails, attack sequence ends. Joke's on you, idiot. I hit on 5s anyway. Death's Construction. If she's a big snake, why isn't it called Death's Constriction? Anyway, I'll see myself out. Pick a visible enemy unit within 12, that's pretty short. Until the start of the next turn, this unit and any friendly Soulblight Gravelords that are wholly within 6 of this unit, which is not a lot, cannot be picked to be the target of abilities used by the target other than fight abilities. Okay, like a pre-counterspell thing. She has a big snake. She herself is a vampire chick. Oh, okay. Still, maybe. So she's like a... You remember when you guys were telling me that the Mortis engine was just a walking time bomb? I think that's what she is with this move ability. She's running around holding a snake that has swallowed a cartoon Acme bomb, ready to explode. And besides that, doesn't do anything. But it has Wizard 2. I guess Wizard 2 is cool. What a weird thing. I don't think I want to play with it, but weird lady. What does she cost? A whole lot? Okay. Terrorists win. Yeah, weird. Interesting. This whole book is filled with... You know, you have very few units that are just, like, legit awful. You know what I mean? There aren't too many legitimately awful things in here, relatively speaking. And some of the stuff that's, like, bad is at least bad in a kind of interesting way. You saw that they had, like, a neat idea. And like, oh, what about a shoveler? You know, what about a lady who makes your dogs neat? What about a assassin, nothing personnel kid thing that would be cool if this was a different type of game and maybe more skirmishy? There's a bunch of neat stuff in here. Your heroes all feel expensive. Some of them very much so. But then I suppose your troops are really cheap and you get them back, and so that's the payoff there. Blood Knight cavalry seems good. Potentially zombies and skeletons and just reanimating them and doing the whole get them back thing. It's probably pretty good, just like it always is. Back in All of Blood is definitely like the one thing, and I don't see a value in really the other one. This one is sick though. Anyway, Soulblight Gravelords. You seem to potentially be able to build multiple ways here. Maybe not like 100% optimally, but pretty close enough. You just want to give people an excuse, really. And there's a legitimate combo or two. This book exceeded my expectations, which were very low. So that's good, right? Oh yeah. Soulblight Gravelords. Nice. While grading on a curve, I'd put them on nice, for purely just how interesting they seem. This is not a power level ranking. Nice work, nice work. Funloud.exe. Alright. Anyway, chat, hey, thanks for stopping by. Apologies that I've had to cancel a lot of streams recently, but the reasons for that fucking suck. So, At least it sucks for me too. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Look forward to some new YouTube in the coming week. You know, the stuff that people like. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna try to find a raider maybe on Twitch. Please enjoy the outro. And I'll see you Monday. Maybe over the weekend we'll play some boomer-ass game. Or I should work on YouTube. One of the two. Alright, for story time. Well, hot chalkies. Anyway.